Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours, and a lot to get to over these next 3 hours. The Masters wrapped up yesterday afternoon with some history. Rory McIlroy winning back-to-back green jackets, becoming only the fourth player in history to do so. The NBA regular season wrapped up last night as well. The Grizzlies, their season comes to an end after 2 losses over the weekend. Exit interviews happened earlier today. We will talk a lot about those games. The exit interviews, the NBA with the playoffs now set, play-in games getting started tomorrow night. We'll talk some baseball. There was a lot of action over the weekend, so a ton to get into. College basketball as well, with all the offseason stuff that is just seems to be always going on and news breaking everywhere. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. Play-in begins and will end this week, right. And then over next weekend, the playoffs will begin, and a champion will be crowned in June. The Grizzlies, thankfully, it ended. Yeah,
they wrapped up last night with another loss, 2 losses over the weekend, 147-101 on Friday, and what felt like a game that it would be hard to lose. Well, they just didn't do anything and kind of made sure they lost. And then last night, the 132-102 loss against Houston. So, yeah, this season now officially over. You can start kind of turning the page to the new era and looking towards the future. We know 6 best odds going into the draft lottery, a second first-round pick, wherever that might fall based on what the Magic do this week in the play-in. So definitely a lot to look forward to this week, kind of in anticipation for the draft lottery and then the NBA draft.
25 wins. It was not numerically the fewest wins ever. They've been worse, but this was the worst year because in those other years with even less losses, it was not the hope 3 or 4 years before for any of those teams of what this team might do with that type of star player, that type of player that finally sold tickets here, and for it to end like this. And I'm seeing Danny Green comments today of Ja being done wrong. No. Ja was not done wrong. Ja did Memphis wrong. Ja helped to undermine and really destroy this franchise and why it's in this total rebuild. He was not alone, but on the court, he was a big part of it. So I don't want to hear the NBA fraternity coming to his defense of Ja being wronged. But also, it was stunning to read, and we're going to visit with DeMichael Cole. He tweeted it out, and Jonah Dillon and others from today's media availability, the end of the year, Zach Kleiman appearance, and some of the other players. And when he was asked, and I was not there, so I don't want to go to temperament or body language or anything like that. So, you don't know unless you see or hear it. But to read the statement, that the quote that they had attributed to him of when pressed about why no statement, why nobody, we've been asking, 2.5, 3 weeks now? Why not some statement? And he said, I'm paraphrasing, why put out a hollow statement about what has been said around the league? Zach Kleiman has lived and worked here at least 10 years. He was hired in 2015 or 2016. About the same, if not longer, for Jason Wexler working for the Grizzlies, living here longer. The Grizzlies have been here, we know, 25 years. How about this? Instead of putting out a hollow statement, how about one with full force of sincerity of we love it here, and yes, we are in negotiations about continuing the lease here, and we hope that gets worked out, but this place we've called home has been really good to us. Public money in the neighborhood, I'm going to low side guess, and I'm not going to what it would be worth now. I just straight money, $700 million put into FedEx for them to build it, to upgrade it, to keep it up, and other things. Never mind the ticket buying public. Not just never minding. How about sincerely thinking the ticket buying public for all those years, and he didn't want to put out some hollow statement. How about putting out a sincere one?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get that. And we talked about it for weeks about, wanting to hear anything out of the front office. Just somebody, just say anything. I read it a little differently, because I was even surprised he said as much as he said today about it. I thought the question would certainly be asked, but I thought he would deflect it more. I thought it was very poorly worded, but it felt to me that it was kind of more of an actions speak louder than words type of deal of trying to get the everything finalized and a new deal with the city of Memphis. He went on to say that they love being here and even said they want to win here. I mean, he doesn't see much winning. I mean, he was the one that didn't want to put a timeline on it, but I don't think he realistically sees much winning over the next couple of years. So I took, I guess, a little more of a glass half full approach to his comments, but still, I think we would always love to hear more and more commitment and a little more sunshine on kind of the future of this team.
I don't think he probably liked having to answer those in not direct quotes, but he more or less, from what I gathered, I'm just here to talk basketball.
Sure.
I'm just the basketball side. Well, you came here to be part of legal counsel.
Sure.
That's how you got here, and you worked your way up to running the team. Here's another quote as far as the lease negotiations. Quote, "We want to win here. We love being here." I don't think that's hollow. You could have put that out 2 weeks ago. We take a major pride in doing what we do to make sure that we can put the best possible product on the court here. End of quote. I don't think that's been the case 2 of the last 3 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, there are things that go along with that, the injuries and different things and kind of what this season ultimately ended up to where, I mean, you look at the rosters, those last 2 games, those lineups that were out on the court, everybody can say, and Grizzlies taking a lot of heat for the way that Jazz game played out across the league. But, I don't think, anybody could have expected that type of roster to be out there on the court. But, I mean, going into the season, the Ty Jerome sign, I mean, they clearly wanted to win this year, and it just didn't work out.
I didn't see a clear effort to want to win this year. If they'd have wanted to win this year, John Morant would have been back in that lineup a lot sooner than he was before the international trip. And I think since then, was John on the bench yesterday?
Brett, I didn't watch the game yesterday. I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch the second.
Okay, late in the game, I saw somebody horseplay, wrestling, cutting up on the bench with Taj Gibson.
Taj Gibson, okay.
And I thought it was Ja, but I couldn't clearly make it out because I didn't watch a lot of it either. But I mean, playing pretty roughly playing in the bench area. If you can if that was him, I don't know that it was or not. I couldn't tell. But if that was him, and you can play roughhouse on the sideline, you can be in that. You could be out there. But that wasn't his call. And now Danny Green and others saying that they blocked him and he's been mistreated by Memphis. Nah, come on.
No, I certainly don't think his whole time he's been treated wrong at all. There's certainly stories starting to come out now about some different things, and I think those are more the issues that these kind of former players are taking exception to. And I don't think it's kind of a whole gravity of his entire time here at Memphis, because I don't think anybody would say here or around the league that he's been treated poorly. It's just been a matter of he hasn't been able to stay on the court.
And to every one of those, let's go so far to say he has been. That he's been treated horribly, that he's been treated as horribly as Penny thinks he's been treated. I still go to this. 1 playoff win with him. One. That's unarguable that in the Ja Morant years it won 1 playoff series with him.
Yeah, I mean it is the truth, and we'll see. Obviously, it feels like they're gonna see some movement this offseason. I know Kleiman was asked about that and kind of the future Ja Morant, and didn't have much to say about that. Kind of just moved on to the next question, but it feels pretty certain that there will be a move this offseason.
What's your certainty on it? I don't go 100 on anything or 0 on anything. What would be he's not on opening night with the Grizzlies next year? There's some out there thinking because nobody wants to take him that they might have to go into the beginning of the year next year with him? What's your percentage?
I mean, I put it at 90. I think there is a small chance.
That's where I am.
That he could be back next year, but
maybe a little higher than that. But
yeah, I mean, I
don't want to go over because you lose on the price right going over.
That's very true. But I do think there have been and there are signs that point to the front office is going to do pretty much whatever they can to try to move him this offseason and try to get something back. But like you said, we'll see what that market looks like. I think it will be a little better than what it was at the trade deadline, just because usually it is in the offseason rather than at the trade deadline. But we'll have to see. There were reports out there of a couple teams that were interested at the trade deadline. We'll see if those teams are still interested. One of them was obviously the Bucks. Who knows what this offseason looks like with the Bucks to even start with. They've got a lot of bigger issues and one very big issue that they have to deal with before the offseason is over. So I think most people, their number one on the court thing for the Grizzlies is what do they do in the draft, but certainly clearly number two, and probably for a lot, number one is what happens with Ja this offseason.
I think a full wholesale cleaning of basketball related an examination of everything they're doing, and particularly medical, with injuries, with rehabilitation, with things that could possibly lead up to it. I know you can't help it when you get hurt. I know that kind of athlete, those bigger players at that speed, injuries will happen. But isn't it ironic, for as much trouble as the Grizzlies have with anybody ever staying on the court, that three former Grizzlies this year, Desmond Bain, Huff, and LaRavia, all played in 82 games away from Memphis?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people point that out. I don't.
That's just the dumbest luck, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I'm no doctor. I don't know how to really attribute that to anything, but it is something to look around and see a team that over the last couple of years has not been able to stay healthy at all, and then
three guys can't get anybody clear the 60 mark.
No, and you got three guys out there that are just playing every single game night in, night out. So it's definitely something. I just don't really know.
Count on LaRavia for anything here, and he goes out and has the full tote board.
Yeah, no, he really has. He is he's found himself a nice spot over there on the West Coast. So we'll talk a lot of Grizzlies today over the next 3 hours. Like Brett mentioned, Michael Cole going to join us at 5 o'clock. He was at those exit interviews earlier today, so we'll definitely talk a lot with him. But yesterday, it was the final round of the Masters. Rory McIlroy, he wins it, a back-to-back winner for Rory, the first time since Tiger did it, and was a interesting weekend, to say the least, for him. But when he had to get it done, he got it done.
Very interesting. When we left here Friday night at 6 o'clock, he was 12 under and had a 6-stroke lead. Well, today, when we get back here today, he's 12 under, and he wins by one shot. Mm-hmm. Boy, it was a long and circuitous journey in between Friday at 6 and getting back here tonight, and for him, 6 o'clock on Sunday night. But winning, low man, is all that matters. He got it done.
No, he absolutely did. And I mean, you saw a lot of people Friday night when the second round was over kind of say, all right, make plans for the weekend. There's going to be nothing to watch. It's going to be easy. He's just going to walk through these next 2 days and win it. And that was just nowhere near the truth. Struggled on Saturday, and then but really, I mean, the crazy thing about it is he was just like you said, he was 12 under on Friday when the second round ended. He's 12 under to win. He didn't really move much from where he was.
He didn't play that bad Saturday.
It was everybody was chasing him to go to
the
go.
The ones tracking just really played well.
That's right. And when I say he played bad, I just meant kind of compared to the previous day. The thing is, he didn't play all that great the entire weekend. He didn't
go full Greg Norman and cough it completely.
No. That's the thing. I've seen some people, talk about, his collapse on Saturday or Sunday, and that was the crazy thing about it. There was no collapse. I mean, he just kind of stayed right where he was at, and everyone else chased him. But he was pretty much awful off the tee, pretty much all weekend. I mean, he just was all over the place. But
when it mattered on 13 yesterday, he just stepped up and slapped it, didn't he?
But I mean, it was
after birdie in 12.
That's right. And so,
you go birdie on 12 and 13.
Oh yeah. But I mean, to look at the numbers coming out of it, he was second to last among the players that made the cut off the tee in driving accuracy. it was just pretty much everywhere else he was, elite. And then putting, he was just, he was fine. He wasn't elite at putting. He wasn't bad, but he was just good at putting, and that's all he needed to do to win a second green jacket.
He's got it, and he's now in a great league, and so much far. And look, these players are so good now, and they've stretched every course out just about as much as they can, and made it tougher, and tried to make it impossible for them to lap the field with it. But a lot of people thinking that Augusta National may be passe, that it just can't stand up anymore, and 12 under, it won it. I said last week I thought about 12 would win it. That's the only thing I got right.
Well, yeah, we don't have to get into to the picks over the weekend. That wasn't great. But John,
none of us picked Rory McIlroy.
No, again, I think
8 pick or 4. So 4 cracks at him, and none of us take it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people assumed got it last year, and
that happy.
Before yesterday, 3 people had ever won back-to-back. Out of all the amount of times someone could win back-to-back, it's only happened 3 times. So, why would someone pick Rory McIlroy? But, you saw that, him being able to win it last year just freed him up so much mentally, and, he was able to go out there and relax.
And 18th Masters, so last year he got it done on his 17th time. Known superstar entity for a long time, with all the right friends, and I'm sure plenty of opportunity to go there. You should have been here 2 weeks ago with Tiger. Look, Roy McIlroy said, I'd played there more. That had been his home course the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He's been jetting up there. He knows every single bounce. And now with that, and with more opportunity, to take a group of buds and play in the fall and go back and work, from about St. Patrick's Day on next year and really sharpen his game there, because that tournament's going to be there every year. There's no need running off to Shinnecock or Olympia Fields or wherever. He knows the first one of the year is going to be there. And now, and that goes with the fruits of victory. To the victor go the spoils. A lot of people want to be out there on a Tuesday afternoon with him.
Yeah, no, they definitely do, and you're right. He talked about that a lot, about how he was, and it kind of became a storyline all weekend about how he was up there a lot, getting some practice rounds in and really understanding.
Anything unfair about it?
No.
No.
I don't. I've seen a lot of people, kind of overreact about it, but.
Oh, you have?
Oh my gosh, absolutely! I've seen some people losing their mind over the fact that he's been up and down, up there, kind of. Because he had the quote that he would drop his daughter off at school and fly up, play around, and come back home and have dinner with him. And I've seen so many people upset about that.
I haven't. I haven't noticed it.
Oh yeah. Well, social media.
I haven't seen it.
It's been very, very hot on Rory. At least what my timeline is. But it was really cool to watch and to see him win back to back. A really fun weekend at the Masters. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30. We're going to talk more about the Masters. Rory winning back-to-back, but that wasn't the only story of the weekend. Some really fun golf all weekend long. We'll talk about it in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball, as the weekend was fun. A lot of storylines from the weekend, and a couple of teams in the Big Apple with some big-time losing streaks, both the Yankees and the Mets on a 5-game losing streak right now. We'll talk about both of those teams. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us, talk college football and college basketball. We'll talk a lot of college basketball as we'll get his thoughts on that national championship game. We talked with him a few hours before the game, but we haven't discussed it with him following that game. So we'll talk about that national championship. We'll talk the transfer portal. We'll also get into some college football, spring football, draft coming up, a little bit of everything with David Cobb. 4:30, we'll talk the Grizzlies and the NBA as the season has finally come to an end for the Grizzlies. It was a pair of losses over the weekend. Exit interviews earlier today, but we do have the NBA playoffs now set. Play-ins will get started tomorrow night, and then once we get to the weekend, we'll really get the playoffs started. So we'll talk a lot of NBA at 4:30. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us. We'll get his thoughts on the season as a whole, his takeaways from exit interviews today, and kind of an outlook on the offseason. We'll get to all of that to start our third hour. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The Floor Model Spa Sale, it's going on right now at Family Leisure. It's time to make room. Deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, and cold plunges. Have you been dreaming about a new spa? Well, now is the time to buy. Spas as low as $99 a month with over $1,000 in free upgrades with every spa purchased. $8,000 spas only $159 a month with free LED lights and a waterfall available on most models. Head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer is Landon Schmidt, and we are Sports Time, and we're live and local and with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be with us by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. 8255, always from our Family Leisure Studios. And this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. You can drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it is Rory McIlroy and his second straight Masters victory. He did it and started it with a lot of style in the first two rounds, getting to 12 under, and then after that, he just kind of stayed about there over the weekend. Other guys were chasing right on his tail, but when it mattered the most in that fourth round on 12 and 13 with the back-to-back birdies to really put it away and put himself back into control to go out there and ultimately win it. It was a fun weekend for him, but it wasn't an easy weekend for him. His accuracy with the driver was just all over the place for most of the tournament. It was a lot better in that fourth and final round, but the first three rounds, not great. He was second to last in accuracy among the players that made the cut, but he was able to pretty much be elite at everything else, and when he got in a bad spot, he put himself back in a pretty good spot even with the bad start. So a fun weekend for him, but it was some other guys that had big weekends as well. Scotty Scheffler, when we wrapped up on Friday with all the talk of Rory McIlroy being 12 under and kind of running away and hiding from the rest of the field, Scotty Scheffler was sitting there at even, and we were going, oh man, what's going on with Scotty? Will he show much over the weekend? He showed a lot, finishing second at 11 under, two really incredible rounds for him. A 65 on Saturday, a 68 on Sunday to get back in second place. Some of those other guys around them, they had good days as well. Cam Young, a really good weekend for him. Max Homa, what he did, especially in that round yesterday, really, really good. Justin Rose, he was in the lead there for a second on Sunday. A good weekend for him. So I think all in all, even with some of the outbursts, middle fingers, driving, I don't even know how to describe what happened yesterday with the driver, but with all that, it was a great weekend at the Masters.
Sergio Garcia really kind of lost it yesterday, didn't he?
That was rough.
What was the whole carrying John Rahm's bag from? Was that his own punishment for breaking his driver?
I don't know what happened there. That was early in the day, and so I just kind of saw the clips of that happening, and so I really never got an answer of why he was carrying John Rahm's bag. But yeah, him and his driver, they were not getting along, and he showed. I mean, he really let it go.
My top story, Roy goes back-to-back, and he's not done in the majors. Yesterday was his last major through his 35th birthday. He turns 36. He'll turn 37 May 4th. So at the PGA, he will be 37 years old. But what a career already. And getting ready to enter into what used to be the wheelhouse of your golf life, kind of 35 to 41, 42, 43 years old. He goes back-to-back. And here, he's going to be a threat from here on to win at Augusta National. He's going to be like Tiger, like Phil, that going down Magnolia Lane until he's around 46, 47, 48, something may trigger and he may win it. U.S. Opens kind of narrow the field a little bit for his liking, but he's won one. PGAs, why not? Open Championships, he's always in the mix there. So to quote one of the biggest nitwits of the 21st century, Rory has been unburdened by what has been.
Who said that?
I'm not going to get political.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is the NBA playoffs. They are set after we had every single team playing last night, and I've been saying it for a couple weeks. I really do think these NBA playoffs on both sides, the East and the West, are going to be a lot of fun to watch over these next couple of months. It starts tomorrow night with the play-in. 6:30, we'll have the 10 seed in the East, the Heat, against the Rockets. That's a 10-9 matchup. Then later in the night, the 8-7 matchup in the West, the Blazers at the Suns. Wednesday night, we'll have the 8-7 in the East, the Magic and the 76ers. And then later in the night, the 10-9 Warriors and who is the 9 in the Western Conference? The Clippers. The Warriors and the Clippers in that final game in the play. And then we'll get the playoffs started. I think going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, the big threats, OKC in the West, Boston, Detroit, who emerges out of the East? Can the Spurs make something happen? Can one of these other teams in the West make that jump and get to the NBA Finals? But the way that OKC won it last year, the season they put together, they're the team to beat in both the West and the East.
And that Clippers-Warriors game wouldn't surprise me that the defeated coach in that's it. Either retirement or for Steve Kerr and being fired for Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, I definitely can see that.
My not top story, it's over, mercifully, painfully, historically. In 2 of the last 3 years, it's like the Grizzlies really weren't even in the NBA. For sure, from January 10th on in 2 of the last 3 years, it's been over. And it's just been going through the motions, the longest playing out of the string as you can play it. And it's been really bad, and it's been really sad. And when your best win of this year, the very best win of the Grizzlies' year this year, came in another country, you've been in a bad year.
I don't know, Brett. That Denver win at home, with nobody on the court.
It hurt.
Well,
it hurt more than it helped.
It might have been the best win.
Best win was in London.
Well, that was a good win and a fun win over the Magic. And a lot of Grizzly fans going to be watching what happens with this Magic team. They're in the play-in. If they lose and get out of that play-in, that will definitely help the Grizzlies' chances with that second pick in the draft. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, talking more Masters, talking about Rory, back-to-back winners after he won it last year and then wrapped it up yesterday afternoon. We're talking Masters next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Are you ready to bang? Bangers Pickleball in South Haven is now open with 10 courts, a restaurant, and 3 bars. New to pickleball? No problem. Take a free Bangers 101 class to learn. Bangers offers a great time for everyone, and there's no membership required. Bangers has events for you non-pickleballers too, like mahjong, trivia, and whiskey and wine tastings. Bangers Pickleball has it all. All the rage, all the fun, all for you. Please drink responsibly at Bangers Pickleball, 6787 Snowden Lane, South Haven, Mississippi. Let's bang.
Hey everybody out there, Walker Taylor with Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Football season is upon us. Nothing better for your next tailgate party than a barbecue buffet spread provided by the Germantown or Collierville Commissary. Catering, self-serve or full, is a specialty of ours. No party too small, no party too large. You can check out our pricing and the items we feature at commissarybbq.com. Holidays will be upon us soon. At our Collierville location, we have a party room for 30 up to 100, perfect for family, business, or church functions. We also have a patio at the Collierville location, perfect in the fall for enjoying football and eating barbecue. Monday through Friday at the Collierville location, we also offer an all-you-can-eat buffet featuring barbecue pulled pork, ribs, fried chicken, and catfish. Each location also offers a $10.95 lunch special, a sandwich, a side, and a drink. Please come visit us at the original in Germantown by the railroad tracks or our new location in Collierville at Houston Levy and Poplar. And as always, go Tigers go.
Let me share the story about a man named Phineas who, as a child, survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, he is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or leave his home in Israel to receive medical care, and when sirens sound and missiles fall, he cannot get to a bomb shelter for protection. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life.
Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to his home, providing care he wouldn't receive, especially in wartime. Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, Phineas says, and now again they're helping me. As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, we honor survivors like Phineas, not just with words, but with action.
Give $45 right now to rush life-saving essentials to the vulnerable under fire. Call 888-488-IFCJ. That's 888-488-IFCJ, or go online at ifcj.org. That's ifcj.org.
President's Day savings are happening now at the Home Depot with up to 40% off select appliances. Looking to upgrade your fridge? Check out LG's newest model, serving up ice in all kinds of styles. Cube, crushed, craft ice, and now new mini craft ice straight from the dispenser. From cold brew to fizzy favorites, these refrigerators will have you entertaining like a pro. Shop President's Day savings and get up to 40% off, plus free delivery on select appliances like LG at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $1,498 or more. Offer valid February 5th through the 25th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
Men, if you're tired of relying on pills and want lasting, natural performance in the bedroom, Bluff City Health and Wellness offers Apex RF. Backed by clinical research, this discreet 15-minute, non-surgical treatment boosts blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence. No pills, no needles, no side effects. Appointments are filling fast. Call Bluff City Health and Wellness today at 901-800-7606 or take the ED quiz at bchwonline.com. Bluff City Health and Wellness, your confidence in the bedroom naturally.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, T-Dot's working with a couple of accidents out here in the last few minutes. We're actually build over here, especially in the eastbound lanes, with that steady flow of traffic on I-40 from Warford, Hollywood, all the way over to White Station. Looks like Sam Cooper's trying to build, headed back towards the interstate there, going outbound on Sam Cooper. Plenty of radar out here, that's for sure, south of Memphis on 55. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having any kind of transmission issues, bring it to Amco Transmissions with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we've got to talk more about the Masters. It wrapped up yesterday, and Rory McIlroy, back-to-back winners. He did it after looked like he was going to run away and hide on Friday. He was 12 under, a record 6-shot lead going into the weekend, but then after a 73 on Saturday, the question was, will he actually do it? Will he be able to secure the victory? A 71 yesterday was enough to get the job done. So now 6 majors and 2 Masters for the 36-year-old in rare air with what he has done in his career and certainly what he's done now these past 2 Masters.
Well, he really has. It was a roller coaster, long time to get there, and now he's really gotten there. And for the rest of it, like I said earlier, for the rest of his life, I think he can summon up that Magnolia Lane magic. I mean, even at the ripe old age of 45, 46, 47. But before he gets to that, let's just say he wins at least 2 more Masters.
Okay.
So that gets him to 8. Mm-hmm. The other 3 will go in order: PGA, U.S. Open, Open Championship. You just get, of those, the rest of your career, 2 more. Well, that's 10. That's a gigantic number.
Yeah, no, it is. And, obviously after...
That's the greatest international player ever.
That's right.
If he's not already there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what... And people have already started to kind of ask that, is can he get to double-digit major wins? And, obviously with the way he has played and now winning 2 majors, because it's crazy. And even hearing you talk about it, of now, he will be the feared at the Masters for however long he plays a Master event, he will be the feared. And it's crazy that just last year, a year and a week ago, we were talking about, will he ever be able to win the Masters? Can he ever
That's who you wanted to see on the tee box if you were a competitor.
Yes, I mean,
you knew he'd choke.
It was exactly. I mean, he could not get it. He was getting it done everywhere else, could not get it done, and now just 2 years later, we're talking about 2 wins and having this vibe around him going forward. I mean, it's remarkable to see what he's done over these last 2 years.
It is, and again, every year you can count on this. Number 11 is going to play as the toughest hole. 4 is always going to be the toughest par 3. But the golf course, it stood up to all the advances in the technology and the training and the fitness and these great players and the ball. Still 12 under won it. You can live with that.
No, you absolutely can. And, we talked in the last segment about kind of the talk around him, saying he's been up there. And, I mean, you even saw it. A guy that has spent a lot of time up there these last couple of weeks, guys that have been, have spent years and years playing this tournament, this course still got them. And so, when we all looked up on Friday and saw Rory at 12 under, I think there was that fear of what can he get to? Could we be coming in here on Monday and talking about 16 under, 17 under, 20 under, winning it?
Yeah,
and it just that we would have been having a completely different conversation about the event as a whole if that was the winning score. And so you saw him struggle a little bit, and other guys not go on runs but not be able to overtake him at that 12 under. And so I think 12 under is a great score to have for the Masters. If you can live kind of in that range, I think you're in a good spot.
That winner is going to come out of the last group, isn't it? You can about count on that.
No, you really can. And so there was a little bit of a fear yesterday, but it never got to the point where it really felt like it was going to happen with, like
right
you mentioned,
now,
those
the
2 birdies.
10,000-pound elephant in the room. Here we go again locally with Rory.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be the question now.
I think we know that.
Sure, and missed out last year, and I think we talk about kind of just the evidence we have and the facts that we have is likely that he'll probably miss again this year.
Yeah, just a shame for our tournament. I was not pulling for him yesterday for that reason. That reason, and I was pulling for the American players. I was kind of hoping for the late charge for Russell Henley, for him to get his first major. Georgia Bulldog. I had the text ready to go to our buddy Kaylee Mansell. We had talked about dogs with her last week,
right.
and he got close. You made the most astute point of the week last week when I asked rhetorically about who's the sentimental choice now, and you said it was Justin Rose, and you could feel that.
Yeah.
I would have loved that because that would have meant not only the Masters champion in Memphis this August, but our defending champion,
exactly right.
the Masters champion. Him roll into town in that green jacket, and I've gone on and on about Rory. I think if you ever listen once, you know how I feel, and I think it's horrible right back playing that game. I mean, why in the world? What would be different for him to come this year schedule-wise? Because he talks about the heat. And I don't think he loves the golf course. Well, it's at the same golf course and at the same time of the year.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, there's really nothing that points to him doing. And honestly,
he has been to Memphis 8 times.
He has.
I counted up.
And he has come in some years where it hasn't been what it is now, and even what it was before. I mean, honestly, I don't know why he would come to Memphis if he is seen with the playoffs, because it's really, to me, Brett, it's not even as much a Rory problem as it is a PGA Tour problem. The playoffs are terrible. I mean, the way it's set up is awful, and for Rory to look at it and say, I can find an advantage to miss Memphis and go on and have more rest and do all this stuff, if the PGA Tour is going to allow him to do it, why in the world would he come back? Now, I hate it for us that we're not going to see him, but why should he?
Right, that's just the hard truth.
Yeah.
You're so right about it. It just is, and we've talked about at playoff time. We're charged up. We're hosting a playoff event. Again, all the money that FedEx, that company, those executives, those stockholders that they've put into pro golfers' pockets, as good as they've been to the tour. We had to just drag kicking and screaming to finally get to that elevated event that we finally got to. But then we get out there and we're at the playoffs. Can you imagine Patrick Mahomes missing the playoffs?
Yeah.
Can you imagine LeBron James, him again, LeBron James missing the early part of the playoffs? And not only that, for what it matters, and it is not that important, but it's part of the imaging. And we did have live from here our first year we went to, it wasn't playoff, but it was World Golf. In 19 we did, and then COVID. I think we had live from back in 21, but they don't show.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the networks at playoff time? And you go in that media room and so-and-so's not here, that's week in, week out on the tour, 40 events a year. That's the weekend for them all to take off before the next two events, the BMW and the Tour Championship.
It's crazy because you're right. I mean, I love that, it's part of the playoffs and kind of that idea of man, these big time events, but then nothing else about it makes it feel like the playoffs. I mean, because like that analogy you used about Patrick Mahomes missing a playoff round. I mean, the way that the PGA Tour is set up, it's almost like the Chiefs could go in and say, well, we just don't want to play that game in the playoffs, so we'll just advance to the next round. We're not going to play it, but everyone cool. We were a great team all year. We'll just advance to the next round, and then we'll see you next week in the divisional round. I mean, that would never happen. It makes no sense, but the way that it's set up with the PGA Tour, it I guess is fine.
And you in essence made the point of, we know the NBA's got to address tanking. Well, the Tour's got to address however they set up their playoffs in the future for people to participate.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. I know we had these same conversations, around the tournament last year of, look, I don't know what the answer is to change the playoff format to make it work, but something has to change because I do think that Rory was the one last year. I would not be surprised if Rory isn't the only one this year that looks around and says, why am I in Memphis? Why do I need to go to Memphis?
I think we were fortunate that was the only one, and now with somewhat of the limbo status going forward for how the playoffs work out, and if Memphis will remain part of that schedule, I'm afraid that could really open the door this year, and that's just a horrible look, because if Rory McIlroy, if he didn't feel a sense of loyalty last year, in the year that Fred Smith passed away, and what he had spent on pro golfers, if that doesn't guilt trip you enough to show, then you sure don't mind missing in 2026.
Yeah, I mean it's easier this year to go out there and miss. So yeah, I mean and he will certainly, if that becomes a trend, he will be kind of that first guy, the trendsetter, if you will. But I think it's far more of a PGA Tour issue than it is a Rory McIlroy issue.
It is, and our status with the tour is so vexing. Look, I know on some sports things in Memphis, we have swung and missed. We have not swung and missed as a part of the PGA Tour.
No.
We haven't swung and missed in this elevated event. Crowds have been at record pricing, at price points that I know some of the tournament people are a little bit weak-kneed to go in and present to, to customer A and to company B and around town, and people have stepped up.
Yeah.
The pricing structure, the crowds last year, and the TV ratings. This is one that I don't understand. Okay, I'm kind of, even though it was hurtful, I kind of understood why we swung and missed at the NFL.
Sure.
I don't really understand why such the pinata about the NBA. I don't really get that either. And it all really kind of comes to a vortex that all these issues really join, are conjoined at these times. So many people so repulsed and so mad. And I hear people talking about how hurt they were about LeBron's comments, and it cut too deep. What about Rory?
Yeah.
LeBron's was words. They were hurtful. They did sting, but it was words. I guarantee you, if the Lakers were in the playoffs, he'd be here.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think, but I do think the difference between Rory and LeBron is because I don't and I haven't seen everything. We kind of talked about some of the things, and you talk about the hurt feelings. I tried to avoid all LeBron stuff because I just thought it was ridiculous from the jump. So I haven't seen
because we try to avoid him mostly other than just playing basketball.
That's right. But for me, and at least the people I interact with, the problem wasn't what he said about Memphis. It was that he was saying move him to Nashville. If he had just said, I don't like going to Memphis, I hate the hotel, I'm not a fan of Memphis, and just left it at that, I don't think, because there have been other players this year that have said bad things about Memphis, and we've all just said, whatever, keep talking, who cares? But I do think it was what really changed with LeBron, other than the fact that it's LeBron, is that he said move him to Nashville.
I agree. That really does cut right to the quick. It does. But in effect, with Rory's actions last year and what we're already braced for this year, and the rekiltering the new schedule, okay, it might not be to Nashville, but didn't Rory go so far to affect a change, affect a move?
That's fair. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're definitely right.
Maybe it's not to Bellmead in Nashville, or not to to Nashville proper. But if we look up in 27 and beyond, and we're not part of the playoffs, and just a signature event, and hope for that. Yeah. Couldn't some of that rest at Rory's feet?
Sure, it certainly could. It absolutely could. So it's a good point by you, because I do think it is similar in that sense. But congratulations to Rory on the win yesterday. Really, really fun to watch him over the weekend and how he was able to win his second straight Masters. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk some Major League Baseball. It was a busy weekend around MLB, but 2 losing streaks in the Big Apple. We'll talk about the Cardinals as well. Baseball talk coming your way next on Sports Time.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
Rick's Powder Coating, for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Call 68370.
This is Parker Trotz with NST Injury Attorneys. After a car accident, money is on the line, and that's why one call can change everything. For over 35 years, we've gone toe-to-toe with insurance companies and won billions for our clients.
NST is the way to go. Call 68370. They've got the fight, they've got the heart.
NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or visit nstlaw.com.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used, they've got it. With fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters. 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we've got to talk some Major League Baseball as we've got one game going on right now, the Mariners and the Astros, a rare Monday afternoon game between the two rivals as the Mariners looking for the sweep and right now up 5-0 in the bottom of the third inning. So looking likely that they will secure that sweep, but that certainly was nowhere near the biggest story over the weekend. That's because when anything like this happens, it becomes the biggest story. Both the Yankees and the Mets riding 5-game losing streaks right now.
A lot of conversation about maybe one of those two managers could be next. The Yankees in the name of shaking it up, about anybody could go in there and win 90 games with them. And you would think with what the Mets spend, they go to Los Angeles. They start a series tonight at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers. That owner spending that much money, he feels restless.
Oh, yeah.
Carlos Mendoza, not to be confused with the Heisman Trophy winner, has to be concerned.
No, he definitely has to be concerned. My favorite part about this whole story, because I've seen so many people, and when it's a New York team, it blocks out the sun, it feels like. But my favorite thing about it, and the part that I'm not seeing a lot of people make sure they point out, is the team that has caused these 5-game losing streak. The Athletics won the final 2 games against the Yankees and then swept the Mets over the weekend. Athletics on a 5-game winning streak with both of those teams that are on the 5-game losing streaks.
And a payroll disparity of what?
Oh man,
$200 million.
I would say somewhere around there. I mean, it is crazy, the difference between those payrolls. So things are ugly right now. I think they'll be fine. I mean, we're still talking about April baseball, but certainly not fun for those two fan bases to watch game to game.
Did you enjoy what could end up being the high water mark of the year for the Cardinals that I texted you Saturday morning?
Yeah.
The box score read Cardinals in first, Cubs in last on Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning it looked good. The next 2 games did not look good for the Cardinals. But yeah, I mean, a win in the
hitting real quiet.
Very quiet. Very, very quiet. But to get that first win, it was nice. That made it a 3-game win streak for the Cardinals, and now since then they've mustered 4 runs in the last 2 games. So
yeah, the Red Sox really needed that series, and they took 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals. Cardinals in Cleveland, starting a 3-game series tonight, tomorrow night, and Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, in Cleveland, they were on Sunday Night Baseball last night against the Braves.
And got roughed up.
Oh boy,
you got the Braves in a 13-run pool. You're in good shape.
Yeah, there were some people happy out there last night about that. But yeah, 13-1. The final score in that.
I wonder why 13 for a pool. Why isn't it 12-run or 14-run?
I really don't know. I've never been a part of a 13-run.
I have. I've had fun with it.
Yeah, I've never been a part of it.
I'm not now.
No, so I don't know why.
No pools, no pots for me.
No. I don't think I would have a lot of fun in a 13-run pool. I think I'll stick to my gambling and my fantasy baseball. I think
trust yourself.
Yes, that's right. I certainly trust myself a whole lot more than these 13-run pools. But you talk about the Cardinals and the struggles over the last 2 games. No struggles for Jordan Walker, just leading Major League Baseball with home runs.
But his home runs are coming in kind of benign games.
Well, they are.
But they're there.
They are.
He's about the only guy you have to pitch around. I think the Cardinals are 12th or 13th in the National League in hitting.
Wow.
Even though it's been against a lot of American League teams. mean, this early schedule looks like the Cardinals joined the American League, doesn't it?
It really does. It's weird.
And J.J. Weatherholt's really struggling. Nobody's hitting except for Walker.
No, I mean, you look at this, you've got, Jordan Walker hitting 327 right now, and then after that, it just hits a, steep drop, and you go to 268 with Victor Scott, 259 with Burleson, and then everyone else is batting 250 or lower. So, I mean, it has not been good for the Cardinals. But, I do think, getting this out of Jordan Walker is huge how many times over the last couple of years have we talked about it's all confidence, it's all in the head with Jordan Walker. And
we were very patient.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and so
especially me.
Barry, you have been Mr. Patient on Jordan Walker. But,
no comparisons to Albert Pujols. That was silly.
Well, yeah, very, very silly for anybody to do that. But, what he is doing right now, looking really good. We'll see if this can continue. It's very small sample size right now. If that can continue, then, maybe you have a piece that you can
Starting pitching's been okay.
It's been okay. Bullpen's been awful, but it's been awful all season. So that's nothing new.
But look at the trading range for so many teams. It feels like about 25 teams are anywhere from two under 500 to really exemplary records like the Dodgers. How are the Dodgers not going to win 110?
Yeah, I mean it seems like it's going to be hard to slow them down. They have been on an absolute tear.
Only 99 to go.
That's right. So count them down. You can get the tallies out and count down their wins because they've just been on a roll. You see a couple other teams up there that have been doing really, really well to start the season, but it just feels like the Dodgers are in a completely separate tier. But handful of games tonight, and we'll see. Like I mentioned, one game going on right now with the Astros and the Mariners, and then we'll have a lot more games tonight, including the first of that series between the Guardians and the Cardinals. But we need to wrap up this first hour, get to a break, and when we return, we're talking some college football and college basketball. David Cobb from CBS Sports, he joins us next.
On tour. Saturday, May 2nd, Davis Wade Stadium. With special guests, Dijon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets on sale Friday at 11 a.m. at ZachBryan.com. Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
Old Dominick Distillery is pure Memphis spirit, all the way from the winning atmosphere at their downtown distillery to award-winning craft spirits. And there's always something happening. April 16th, Old Dominick presents an evening with Fred Minnick, accomplished bourbon critic and journalist. Your ticket includes a copy of Bottom Shelf, How a Forgotten Brand of Bourbon Saved One Man's Life, a book signing, small bites, and a drink. April 18th, you're invited to Old Dominick's Crawfish Boil. Rock out the music by the Risky Whiskey Boys. Eat big and wash it all down with a craft cocktail or local beer. Plus, you can always swing by the distillery bar for a pregame cocktail or celebrate your wins with a guided tour and tasting. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at OldDominick.com.
The best I-dos start with Sissy's Blue. Discover bridal jewelry worthy of your big day at Sissy's Log Cabin, along with our spectacular experience that comes with our promise of exceptional quality, service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Experience our expansive selection when you stop by any of our 7 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Find your perfect engagement ring only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. 5 Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawald Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawald is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A little bit heavier traffic volume on Sam Cooper going outbound, trying to work your way back up on I-40. Plenty of radar out through Fayette County this afternoon. Be careful on I-40 coming past 269 as it builds with that volume trying to get south of Memphis right now. Pretty much typical down through there on 55 through DeSoto County. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way. The world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. If you can help these kids, please do. Log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Monday afternoon. And we've got to talk some college football and college basketball. And joining us like he does every week at this time is David Cobb.
Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now to talk some college basketball and a little college football. David, last week when we talked with you, we were getting ready for the national championship game. Then a few hours after that, Michigan beat UConn to win the national championship. What did you make of that game and that showing for Michigan to cut down the nets?
Yeah, the best team in college basketball won the national championship. It doesn't always happen that way. Usually it's one of the 5 best. Sometimes it is the best. This year it was the best. Michigan demonstrated a level of dominance throughout this college basketball season that nobody else in the game matched. And so they were a fitting and a worthy champion, but I'll tell you guys, I mean, they got pushed to the very end by a UConn team that has that championship DNA. And you could just see the brilliance of Dan Hurley on display, and the fact that they were the first team in that NCAA tournament to really push Michigan, to really test Michigan deep into the second half of the game. And so I do give UConn some credit. I think UConn maxed out. I think UConn did the absolute best that it could have hoped for with that roster. Now, the only thing they could have really hoped for would have been a different opponent. With a different opponent in the national title game, UConn could be a 3 times in 4 years national champion, but Michigan was so dominant throughout the entire month of March and early April that they got there. They deserved to be there, and they deserved to be the champion. And they got pushed. They had to earn it, and that was the good part. To become the national champion, Michigan had to beat the best program right now in the sport. They did that. So caps off to Michigan on an incredible season, and to Dusty May for one of the most remarkable 2-year turnarounds you'll ever see in this game.
David, I don't think it'll be 26 years in between Big Ten championships, and I don't think it'll be, 36 years in between Michigan national championships, but it's not going to be long before another UConn national championship either, is it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Dan Hurley's going to have them there every single year. Now, look, they lose Luke Murray from the staff. He's going to be the head coach at Boston College. That's a big loss. They're keeping Kamani Young, who's the associate head coach, but Luke Murray is a big part of those 2 titles. And then they've got some roster replenishing to do. But I tell you, though, if they could get Braylon Mullins back for his sophomore season, that'd be huge. That would be That would be massive for UConn
Is that
if
in
they could
play?
do that. So I believe so. I would be shocked if he doesn't at least explore the draft. But he's one of those guys that, with this being such a good draft, he could benefit from returning to college, putting on 15 more pounds of muscle, and then coming out next year as a lottery pick. Because right now, I think he could be a first-round guy, maybe sneak into the teens, but you come back to college and you're a part of the 2027 draft class, which is not expected to be nearly as large. Oh, yeah, maybe you make $4 million at UConn, which is about maybe more than you would make on your first year of your rookie deal. Yeah, I could see that being a really smart option for Braylon Mullins. So a lot to be decided here in the next few weeks for UConn. This is the part of the year that Dan Hurley kind of laments. You give Dan Hurley a basketball team, he knows what to do with it. But and I give him credit, like he's done a great job building rosters as well. But I don't think it's his favorite part. Like some guys love GMing and working the margins and finding the diamonds in the rough, and I don't think that's Dan Hurley's passion. But he does have good people around him who are really good at that as well. So these next few weeks will be huge in determining how soon UConn gets back to the mountaintop. But speaking with Dan Hurley after that game, he did not sound like a coach who was discouraged in any way, and nor should he be. Now, you wondered how he would react because, I mean, let's be real. He is the first UConn coach ever to lose in the national title game. I mean, UConn was 6-0 in national championship games until last Monday, and Dan Hurley had one NCAA tournament loss in 4 years, right? So, like, how would he respond to that loss? I actually thought he handled it about as well as a Dan Hurley could. And yeah, I agree, Brett. I think they'll be back very soon.
We're talking majors today with Rory. He passes Calhoun, doesn't he, at UConn?
Yeah. Well, I guess Calhoun's got 3. Ollie has 1. Hurley has 2. Now, Hurley's have come in a more condensed time frame. His 24 team was one of the most dominant that we've seen in the last 30 years. He's also been to a title game. It's close. I think he's getting there. I hesitate to say that he's there yet, just because Calhoun does have one more ring. But Dan Hurley is right there. In fact, I would be shocked if he's not for the 3rd year in a row our number 1 ranked coach in college basketball when we rank him here in about 6 months before the new season. He's been that the last 2 seasons, and after another great coaching job, he will be number 1 again.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about UConn and kind of who could be back for them. On the other side with Michigan, we know a couple guys out of the eligibility and won't be back next year, but a lot of question marks out there. We know Elliot Cadeau and Trey McKinney both saying that they will be back next year. What do you make of those 2 guys coming back? And could you see any of those other starters with eligibility remaining maybe run it back instead of entering the draft?
Yeah, Adai Mara and Marez Johnson kind of in a similar position as a Braylon Mullins, where they could absolutely be first-round picks. They should absolutely test the waters. They should get a firm grasp of what their draft stock is, about what NBA scouts are saying about them. They should get all that feedback. Now, that's not ideal for Michigan. It's not ideal for any program, because what happens is those guys run it down to the deadline, and then you don't know. And then so what happens is you need some guys in the portal with some pop to kind of hold off, right? We're seeing commitments. We're seeing guys commit over the last 48 hours, big-time players. If you're Michigan or you're UConn and you have guys in that 20 to 40 range of the draft projections, and they are testing the waters, well, that's going to take a few weeks for them to get that feedback and make their ultimate decision. So, uncomfortable position for Michigan. But, yeah, you wait on Marez Johnson, you wait on Adai Mara, and they've already backfilled on a certain level with J.P. Estrella. I mean, they got a really proven quality big man from Tennessee. He is not going to be Adai Mara. He's most definitely not Yaxel Lindeborg. But in the doomsday scenario where Marez Johnson and Adai Mara both leave, all right, well, you at least have J.P. Estrella there to help soften the blow. So, yeah, with their backcourt intact, if you can get one of Marez Johnson or Adai Mara back, you're probably going into next season right there at number one in most of the preseason polls.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say, and it kind of leads me to my next question about this, Dusty May and this Michigan staff of, J.P. Estrella is not going to be Yaxel Lindenberg or Ade Mara. Maybe, certainly probably for Yaxel, he was a first-round pick before he decided to go to Michigan. But how many of those guys, of those starters on Michigan's team, did we think were going to be that good going into the season? It really feels like this coaching staff is able to identify guys they feel like fit their system and then get the absolute most out of those guys.
Yeah, for sure, Brian. Like the narrative on a week ago tonight of Michigan bought a title, it's only half true.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a certain level of resources to go out and build a competitive roster. But within that, it's still incumbent upon you as a staff to nail the identifications, because nobody was beating down the doors for Elliot Cadeau. I'm sure he commanded a very nice salary, but he was somewhere around the 15th ranked point guard in the class, in the transfer class last year. He was not the number one ranked transfer point guard. That was Donovan Dent or like a Deedon Thomas. There were several other more highly ranked point guards. In fact, going into this past season, if you were power ranking Big Ten point guards, you probably had Elliot Cadeau 7 or 8, right? And he'll go into next season either 1 or 2. Depending on what Jeremy Fears does at Michigan State. And so they identified him. They saw he was not utilized to the full extent of his abilities at North Carolina. They put him in a system and around players who could bring the best out of him. And so they 100% deserve credit for developing and maximizing Elliot Cadeau, who was sort of looked at as a bust on a certain level from his 2 years at UNC. And then Yaxel, you got to have some courage in your evaluation. This is a guy who mainly played on the block, down low for UAB. All right, we're going to play you at the 3, and we're going to trust your perimeter skill set and what we've seen in that. And I look at Ade Mara as another example. What was Mick Cronin doing at UCLA with that guy? Not what he should have been. That guy, the numbers may not have always shown it, but just the way he impacts everything in the paint at 7'3", kind of remind me on some level of Donovan Clingan at UConn a couple years back. Like, just you get in the paint, you got to rethink everything about the way you attack the basket and how you get a shot up, because he's down there with those long arms and is going to disrupt you. So they put together a really nice puzzle. And let's say June of last year, we were looking at Michigan's roster and thinking, this is interesting. Is this going to work? And they had the vision. And so you give Dusty May all the credit in the world. Did he have to have some money to put the roster together? Sure, no doubt, absolutely. But it took some really good scouting and coaching acumen to really make the vision come to life.
Dave, we got a couple of themes working. We have the obvious Big Ten theme working in football and basketball, but we also have it in pretty dominating style. Michigan was just that far ahead of everyone, including everyone in the SEC. And I think Indiana was ahead. I don't think it was as dominant as Michigan being ahead. I would have loved to have seen the Ole Miss-Indiana game, but Indiana was a mighty strong team. 16-0 speaks for itself. The Big Ten, for right now, clearly has separated from the SEC.
Yeah, Brett, it makes me wonder why I paid $185 for an SEC belt. Why did I do that?
Because it just means more. That's
it does
why.
Just mean more.
Oh man, maybe I should pay $300 for a Big Ten belt. I don't know, but
they don't make them. It doesn't mean more there.
Exactly right. They don't make them. They don't make them. That tells you everything you need to know about conference loyalty and why it runs so deep.
I've got a 12-team belt, David.
Wow.
That's actually cooler because that's retro, that's throwback. Like mine's modern. It's not as it doesn't have quite the the retro appeal that yours does. So I'm just trying to get on your level, Brad.
No, David.
You're right.
Nothing says retro like me.
No, you're one of one, and I love you for it.
David.
But yeah, your point is well taken. It's the Big Ten runs college sports right now. I mean, the women's basketball national champion, the men's basketball national champion, 3 consecutive unique football national champions, and it's the Big Ten's world, and we're living in it now. I'll be really concerned if the Big Ten wins the baseball national title. So So holler back at me after Omaha if Iowa is there hoisting the national title trophy at TD Ameritrade Park. Yeah, well, it could happen. I think the SEC will have more bites at the apple. Although those SEC baseball standings right now, they just look like a jumbled mess. My goodness, it's just a bunch of 500 teams in that league right now. But no, it's changed. It's changed. 5 years ago, there was no question. It was the SEC in football, and it really wasn't even close. And then the Big Ten was number 2, but the Big Ten is number 1 now in both of the major sports, and so they have earned their right to puff their chest out and claim their spot as the best.
Omaha would be a 2x4 across the forehead, but next January in Las Vegas, and especially if it happened head to head, that's only happened in the last 3 years. No, it hadn't happened in the title game head to head. But if it happens head-to-head in Vegas in the college football playoff national championship game late January next year, it will be freak out like we may have never seen in the SEC.
Well, and you look at it and you wonder, all right, who are the SEC's bell cows right now? I mean, Georgia has not slipped. They've not wavered. Of course, they haven't won the title now in a few years. And then LSU is going to be under first-year coach and Lane Kiffin. Boy, they've spent enough money to go win a football national title.
Texas is rich.
But the way Lane's talking, it's like he thinks we need to be pumping the brakes, and that doesn't encourage me.
What for the Tampa Bowl?
Well, that's what he seems to think the expectations should be. I disagree. I mean, I think with what you can do in 1 year now in the portal. Well, if Kurt Signetti, for crying out loud, can get Indiana to the college football playoff in his first year after coming over from James Madison, give me one good reason why Lane Kiffin, with a $40 million roster at LSU, can't get LSU at minimum to the semifinals of the college football playoff. You can't. There is no good reason for that not to be the expectation at LSU. And for the sake of the Southeastern Conference, it better be the expectation. Like when you have a coach of his track record, commanding his salary with a roster of that caliber, yeah, you should make the semifinals, and the SEC needs that. They need LSU to punch it that weight.
Mm-hmm. No.
Semifinals, first year for Lane. I don't think it are way crazy, way too early. I did too. I did have that. I had Ole Miss beating LSU in the finals.
You did, that's right.
Okay, David, when are we gonna get your way too early?
Give me about 2 weeks. I gotta well, first I got to get over this root canal. Thankfully, I'm feeling good.
Man.
If this call had been at 11 a.m. today, you would have gotten a very different version of me.
How much pain?
It was. The pain has been over the 2 weeks leading up to it, primarily, to the extent that I welcomed the pain of the actual operation. You know, I was like, all right, I'm ready for this. Thankfully, they got me in a day early, and I was like, I'm ready. I don't care. I didn't even have my coffee before I went.
But you don't sound like it's dead. You don't sound any different.
Well, the numbing has subsided. I'm pretty hopped up on ibuprofen, and I got another round of antibiotics, which it's not the same as like a painkiller by any stretch, but it actually really helps because it hits the infection part of it. So. Yeah, now that I'm past my root canal, or will be here pretty soon, I can start dabbling in those football waters a little bit. And it's always exciting. It's always exciting when you get to transition and sort of look at something new and look at it with fresh eyes, too, because once the national title game is over for football, I am all the way checked out until after basketball ends. And then so you get to come back at it with a fresh set of eyes. You hadn't been keeping up as much with spring practice. Like the guys who only do football, they're dialed in on spring practice, they're dialed in on the football portal. Well, I'm gonna get there about over the next month, and as that happens, I'll have hopefully original thoughts, fresh thinking, and good insights on looking at the football picture.
Mm-hmm. Talking to David Cobby, joins us every Monday from CBS Sports, talk college football and college basketball. Getting back over to the college basketball side of things for the transfer portal. I I have to ask you this. It's going to be a complicated question, I fear, but I am curious your thoughts because I've seen so much back and forth and people having different takes about it. You're seeing coaches talk about it. I've got friends that will argue from the time the sun comes up until the sun goes down about this topic. How do you feel about these three types of current college basketball players? The European players that are coming over that were pros in Europe but now coming over and playing, the guys that have been drafted but are now playing college basketball, like the James Najees, and then the guys that played for G League Ignite that are now trying to come back into college. I'm sure you saw over the weekend Dink Pate committing to Providence. He was a guy that was with Ignite and then just kind of got lost in the G League for a couple of years. How do you feel about those three types of players we're seeing kind of really start to take over college basketball?
So the one that I take issue with the most are guys who have willfully chosen to begin their professional careers in a traditional professional path, such as the actual G League, declaring for the draft, going to the G League, maybe even getting an NBA contract, but then changing their minds and choosing to play college basketball, because there's a clearly established alternative for those players. It's called college basketball. And if you choose not to play it and you choose to enter the NBA draft and you choose to become a full-fledged professional, then I don't think there should be a pathway back to college basketball for those types of players. That's your obviously your Charles Bediakos of the world, and really I would put a James Najee in that category as well. The guys who I have less of a problem with, Dink Pate, the G League Ignite was supposed to be one of these alternative sort of programs, but not the full-fledged professional route. It was supposed to be a pathway program, a pathway to the pros. Well, then college basketball emerged as as something that was very viable in that mold. With the amount of money that you were able to make in college basketball, it then became kind of apples and apples to G League Ignite. So I'm not as up in arms maybe about the Dink Pate to Providence situation as some. I don't think it's quite the same as somebody like a Bediako or a Najee who chose the traditional professional route. And then the international guys, I mean, I think we have to be honest, like there is no college basketball in Europe. So if you're in that professional pipeline, that's really your only option to play high level basketball overseas. So as long as you're within the range of college age over there, I don't have a problem. Now, we get into a situation now where some of these guys, 22, 23, coming over, the NCAA has done a pretty good job of classifying them properly, and we're not just calling anybody who comes over from Europe freshman. Like, we're not doing that. And they've done a pretty good job with that. And I am curious to see if the numbers on the European guys are as high this year. I spent some time last night going through the Adriatic League, which has been a hotbed pipeline of talent, college basketball.
That caused the root canal going through the Adriatic League.
Oh, man, it's some nasty work. But I'll tell you, they're about halfway through their season. So as they get close to the end of their season, you'll start to hear more names from guys over there who are talking about coming over. But I don't think it's as deep of a group this year in that particular league as it was a year ago. And so, I have more of those three groups. I probably have the most sympathy for the international players. I think they are the ones whose claim to participate in college basketball is the strongest, because they've just participated in the best and only pathway that's available to them. Whereas some of these domestic guys have willfully chosen not to play college basketball, and then they're changing their minds once they've made that choice. And that to me feels a little different than the international guys.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a weird world we live in, but I definitely agree with you on that.
David, in the point guard world, you're talking about Cadeau. Where was he ranked, ahead or behind Doug McDaniel?
I believe he was ahead of Doug McDaniel, but not by much. They were pretty close, if I recall correctly. I think Elliot Cadeau was ranked a little higher than Doug McDaniel, but maybe not significantly so.
Will P.J. Haggerty work with Buckyball?
I'm fascinated by that one. I am. I think he can, but Haggerty's always been the alpha, the guy around which the entire offense revolves, and less of that traditional distributor. And so that makes him a little different than the point guards that Bucky has had. So it doesn't strike me as a perfect fit, but we know P.J. Haggerty will be productive. Well, what will be interesting is how he kind of fits within those line changes. Bucky plays 9, 10, 11 guys. None of them ever play more than 30 minutes a game. P.J. Haggerty has never played fewer than 30 minutes a game over the last, 3 years. So,
can't shoot if you're not in there.
That's true.
Well, exactly. So it'll be a little different, but they go fast enough to where I think he'll still get his shot. Maybe it's a little bit of a shift from Bucky. Maybe it's a little bit of a recognition of, hey, at this level of ball, we need a guy who we can go to every possession sort of deal.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was the most natural pairing, but I trust Bucky. He did a good job year one in the SEC. And I think it can work. I question whether a team that has P.J. Haggerty as its best player is going to be there in the second weekend. There might be a cap on what you can accomplish with a guy of his archetype leading the way.
Yeah,
Sean Miller and Bucky just in a bidding war too.
They really were.
Yeah. Yeah, basketball is important in Texas too, apparently.
Yeah, everything's bigger and more important in Texas, at least so I've heard. But David, as always, thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, David.
Thank you very much. David Cobb with us from CBS Sports on college basketball and college football. And I don't want to take it into depression, but it is two stories. The story breaking right now about the health of Dick Vitale.
Yeah.
Ooh, keep up the fight, Dickie V. You got a tough one ahead of you. And Mark Byington, the head coach at Vanderbilt, with his girlfriend. That just what a sad story.
I am not familiar with the Mark Byington story.
She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer on the afternoon of their win against Kentucky.
Wow.
And they kept it a secret, and now it's out, and they're telling their story. It's not anything privileged, but rough battle. Stage 4.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's terrible. Yeah, both of those really, really sad to see. And you mentioned Dick Vitale. That just kind of coming out about an hour or so ago. About his, what he learned. We talked about
Mr. College basketball.
Oh no, he absolutely is. I think we talked about it last week that ESPN had put out a statement from him saying he was going to have more tests done. They had seen something that they wanted to follow up on, and obviously not great news coming out today about it.
And so sad. And everybody that's ever been touched by it, it's just always that next scan, that next doesn't look, something doesn't look good, and it's really tough. Trying to transition from that. Brian, don't you, we look at the SEC in baseball and we see that just collage from 4 to 14 in SEC baseball right now, maybe even to 15. Basketball was kind of like that, kind of. Now it looks like football's getting like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, you were the first one that brought it up before last season about how we could see a world where all these teams are kind of bunched up together.
I was a year too soon.
You were a year too soon.
It's most of my greatness usually.
Well, hey, you're there though. That's what's important. And so yeah, it does feel like we're starting to see that in football. And obviously, it doesn't help
now
when
ninth game.
Yeah, I mean, and if you have that of kind of everyone bunched up with the Big Ten doing what they're doing, Brett, and shame on you for not bringing it up with David. I mean, I really am disappointed because the Big Ten lost out on another title over the weekend in hockey.
In the hockey.
Brett, you're on top of it.
Pioneers of Denver took it, didn't they?
Denver, they did.
I've seen Denver in college basketball.
Have you really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I'll be honest with you, Brett.
I think their coach was Marty Fletcher, old
Is that right?
Maryland assistant under, was he under Gary Williams or Lefty? But yeah.
Wow. See, Brett, I'll be honest.
Denver was in the same league with ULR. I went to the maybe Sun Belt tournament one year in North Little Rock in Denver. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That doesn't, we talk about the geography today. I don't know if that geography makes much sense.
They beat Wisconsin in the hockey, right?
They did. Yeah.
After Wisconsin.
No. Yeah, it was it Wisconsin or Michigan? It was one of the two.
Wisconsin did beat Michigan.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I did not know it was even happening, Brad. I'll be very honest with you. I do not keep up with college hockey.
Show.
Supposed to be.
I'm pulling for my Flyers and Preds to get in.
That's
exactly trying to squeeze in.
I pride myself of being a hockey guy. I'm not a college hockey guy. And I flipped it on the other day. I was flipping around. I go, oh, what's this? And I go, oh, it's the national championship game for college
the Frozen Four.
Frozen Four, that's right.
To the initiated.
That's exactly right. Brett, you're on top of it. I mean, shame on me for not knowing that you were on top of it. But
and we also, I think we have hockey playoffs starting latter part of the week, don't we?
The final day of the regular season is Thursday, so they might
start on Friday.
Yeah, they might start over the weekend on Sunday or so.
Boy, there's a tradition unlike any other, isn't it?
That really is. It really is. So
we don't want to give a time to the audience because we don't want them prepared to turn.
Absolutely not. No,
we will spring it on you.
We will spring it on you, and you will not know when we are doing our hockey picks.
David Cobb was on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin always with us. Unlike Rory McIlroy, they will be prominent at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. They'll be all our leaderboards will be brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. They'll be with us all summer at the two big events for me during the summer at SEC Media Days and at the golf tournament. They're with us every day with the talk and text line, and we sure appreciate it. And when we get back to football every Monday, they'll bring you'll look at the weekend in the SEC every Monday at 4:30 from Sissy's Log Cabin. That great location at 4542 Poplar, 9,000 square foot store at Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more since 1970 with all the great locations across the Mid-South. The official jeweler for the hometown teams like the Tigers and the Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to another break. When we return, we'll talk some NBA as the playoffs are officially set. That does mean the season is over for the Grizzlies. So Grizzly talk and the NBA comes your way next on Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Come on and let the good times roll, y'all. Or as we say in Louisiana, laissez le bon temps rouler. The Orleans in the Ville with our made-from-scratch red beans, jambalaya, gumbo, po' boys, and made-fresh daily muffaladas right here in Collierville. Eat, drink, and stay for dessert like our homemade bread pudding with warm bourbon sauce. Monday through Friday, meat and two with homemade veggies. So good you bring your mom and them. Brunch every Saturday and Sunday. Right here, the Orleans in the Ville, 336 New Byhalia Road. Where great food, live music, and endless fun meet.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you. This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Actually, over here, one car on its top. It's 240 westbound near Poplar. It's back to the already to Sam Cooper. Again, pretty good slowdown. Over here, right in the heart of rush hour traffic. It's right in the center lane. What a nasty wreck. 240 westbound. Again, it's going to be between Walnut Grove and Poplar. Just crawling over here eastbound. That's a given. This time of the afternoon, it's heavy over here as well. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, the NBA playoffs are set last night, the final night of the regular season. We talked about it a lot on Friday about how they set up the last 2 days where everyone played on Friday and then the day off on Saturday and then everyone played on Sunday, and it was very condensed. I think first games last night started at 5. The last games started at 8:30, so you were right there in about a 3.5 window of all the start times around the NBA. But everything is set in both the East and the West. We'll get the play-in started tomorrow night, and that means for the Grizzlies and a lot of other teams, the offseason has officially begun. We talked about it earlier, and we'll certainly talk about it a lot more with Michael Cole. Exit interviews already behind us now for the Grizzlies, so it is feels like the start of a new era for the Grizzlies.
You care to get your NBA picks out?
I could probably find them.
I went 8 out of 10 in the East, 8 out of 10 in the West. The big misses in the East for me, I had Indiana.
Yeah.
I had them as the 8. They finished 14th.
Yeah.
And I had Milwaukee as the 5. They finished 11 and fired their coach.
Well, yeah. Well, that's not bad. Well, that's not too bad.
In the West, I had Sacramento as the 10. That's really bad.
Well, they're fun though. At least you picked a fun bad team.
And I had Dallas as the 8.
Okay. Well, they weren't as fun, but they had Cooper Flagg, who was fun.
My top 4 in the East, I had New York 1, Cleveland 2, Orlando 3, Detroit 4. Top 4 in the West, Oklahoma City 1, Denver 2, Houston 3, Clippers 4.
I'm trying to look through mine real quick.
I see Landon scurrying to his backpack.
I didn't think I was going to be able to find mine this fast. So I'm
sorry I caught you by surprise.
No, you're fine. I'm trying to double check to make sure this is the right one. So I had.
If they're horrible, we'll say it was the wrong one.
No. It is the right one. I look decent in terms of the correct teams being in the playoff. I think
in or out of playoffs.
I think I nailed the West in or out. It's just my the seeding is awful. San Antonio the 8.
I had them as a 6.
Yeah.
They ended up the 2.
Okay, I did. I
don't think that's on us.
I had the Grizzlies as a 9, so I did miss an in or out. For
I had the
West.
Grizzlies as 11, winning 38.
Who did I have out that was in? Portland. I had Portland out, and Portland's in. So that was the miss I had in the West. And then in the East, I had the Hornets out and the Raptors out, and I had the Bulls and the Wizards in.
I had Charlotte as 14.
Yeah, I had Charlotte as 13. So, I mean, they weren't that much higher. They got in the play-in. They weren't that much higher. They were, 9?
My finals, I have Denver over the Knicks. Neither happening.
I don't know who I had winning mine.
Landon, how do your picks look?
They don't look too bad. I think my claim to fame is I had the Celtics in the play-in at the beginning of the year, but them being
I had them as a 9.
That's pretty good.
I mean, having them as a
that's coach of the year stuff, isn't it?
Having them still in.
That's 5.
I had Cavaliers at 1, Knicks at 2. I had the Bucks in, so that was a miss. I had Magic high up there. They made the play in. Had the Hawks at 5, Pistons at 6, Raptors at 7.
I had the Hawks at 6, and they finished 6.
Wow. I had the Raptors at 7. Where are the Raptors right now?
They're 10.
5.
Oh, the Raptors are 5. I'm
5. Okay, yeah.
I was looking at my list. My preseason picks list. I said that.
I didn't miss that bet. I had the Heat at 9. I think they're the which seed are they? They're the 9 or
10.
the 10.
They're 10.
Yeah, 10. So
Adam 7.
Not bad. My
I don't know where I had the Heat.
I had
8 out.
What are y'all's finals looking like?
I had OKC winning the whole thing over the Cavs. So
I have
Okay.
I have Nuggets.
I wouldn't
over
pick it today.
Cavaliers. I have
Yeah,
Nuggets over
we were
Cavaliers.
both Denver. That's right.
Yeah.
Both for Denver.
All right. Well, not bad. Not bad. I had Jokic as my MVP. That's
I had Jokic as MVP.
I think
Quinn Snyder, Coach of the Year.
Okay.
He's not going to win it,
No,
but
but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I do not hate
Cooper
it.
Flagg, Rookie of the Year, first coach fired. I'm sorry I missed because he is a good guy, Willie Green in New Orleans.
Well, yeah, it is. But I am excited for these playoffs. I think they're going to be
I am too.
really, really good
We'll
on both
make
sides.
play-in picks tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's where and that's where it's won.
That's right. Yeah, so we'll start that because 2 games tomorrow: Heat at Hornets, and then Blazers at Suns. Again, all the play
All on
games
the Prime,
on
isn't it?
Prime. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be streaming only for the next couple of days, but I think
And a lot of Saturday will be until primetime Saturday night will
Yeah.
be prime.
Is that right?
I think so.
Interesting. Wow. So Prime getting a pretty good deal with the NBA, their first NBA.
That's
playoffs.
why the rights fees went up, isn't it?
That's right. That's why the rights fees are.
Yeah, Saturday noon, Raptors, Cavaliers at prime. 2:30, T-Wolves, Nuggets, prime. 5 o'clock, Hawks, Knicks, prime. Saturday night, 7 o'clock on network, ABC, Rockets at Lakers.
Interesting. Yeah, Prime is they're starting to really kind of try to take a big command in the sports streaming game. They had some Masters coverage on Thursday and Friday, and I was reading a story about how they really feel like with the traffic they get on a day-to-day basis that they can really change the game for kind of being a factor in the sports streaming department. So
They have. Y'all will see a streaming Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And I think even in the story, it's kind of talked about like they are already kind of having conversations about what is the best way to put that in front of the NFL to try to say Amazon should be the host of a Super Bowl.
And a lot of people are trying right now in Congress to change. I don't know the exact name of the law, but it was like the 1961 TV Act.
Mm-hmm.
When that gets changed, college football, you better be careful wanting to do that because that by law keeps the NFL from playing on Friday and Saturday outside of those early September dates.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact dates are, but just for rough stab at it. Let's say September 10 through Thanksgiving that they can't by law. You crack that open, they take over every day and night. The NFL will.
Yep. No, they absolutely will. And so you're right. If I'm college football, I don't know how much I want to get into that because I would like to keep those Saturdays football only and not or college football only instead of the NFL getting it in there. Last thing before we get to another break, some other news around the NBA. Doc Rivers officially out in Milwaukee. It feels like a big offseason for them with Giannis. It still feels like they have a little bit of hope depending on what they do with the head coach position that maybe they could keep him around, but it feels like a big offseason. Taylor Jenkins certainly in play there. And then I saw this was really interesting. Luka Doncic, he is 1 game shy of the 65-game minimum threshold for those postseason awards. He is trying to get an exemption from the 1 game he missed, because he's at 64 and he's trying to be able to be eligible because he missed, I guess, just 1 game, maybe a couple games for the birth of one of his children. He went over to Europe, and so he's trying to get them to kind of flex the rules a little bit and say that he can be a part of the postseason awards.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think they are going to accommodate it.
Probably not. But I do think it is going to be a big
then it
story this
opens the
offseason.
floodgate.
No, sure. Well, and I think it needs to be. I mean, we've talked about it. I know you like it.
I wanna go up.
I hate it. I don't think it needs to be in there. And so I kind of hope Luka gets this, and it kind of becomes that break of the dam that we see.
This hour brought to you by our friends at Landers Ford in Collierville, the #1 Ford dealership in the Mid-South. Landers Ford, your trusted destination for a vehicle that fits any lifestyle and any price point. Seamless shopping experience from choice to financing and service. From the Ford Escape to the rugged F-150 to the adventurous Bronco, every vehicle built Ford tough. The Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck. SUVs like the Ford Expedition, the Ford Broncos, the Ford Escape, the Ford Explorer, and EVs and hybrids and transparency. What you see is what you get. No fine print. It's all there in bold. Professionalism and long-term support and long-term friendship is what you get at Landers Ford. Oil changes, tires rotated, anything service. You go online, schedule when it suits you the best. It'll be done quickly to meet your very busy, hectic schedule. Landers Ford, active in our community in Collierville at 2082 West Poplar Avenue, or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Go ahead. Just let your car steer itself to either Sunrise on Jefferson or Sunrise East on Poplar. You know you want to. If it's before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, all you have to do is let yourself surrender to the desire to have some hot, fresh, fast, prepared just for you Sunrise deliciousness. Breakfast, lunch, it doesn't matter. Just head to what you really crave, a little Sunrise. Maybe have a piping hot cup of coffee, or maybe make yourself a Bloody Mary at the Bloody Mary bar. Just settle in for Sunrise.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Sponsored by Armstrong Pharmaceuticals.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by Fifth Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 187. So a pretty big number.
Cardinals team batting average?
No, but that could be close. No, 187.
My success rate in golf picks? No, that's 0,
well,
0, 0.
No. Yeah, that is not it either. This comes from the NBA actually, and it could have gone with several different big numbers here, but I saw this earlier, and maybe look. I know this is an option for the future of the draft lottery, so I'll just go ahead and say the big number, and then I'll get to maybe the point of it. The bottom 6 NBA teams this season had a combined winning percentage of .187 after the All-Star break. That is the lowest combined winning percentage post-All-Star break among the bottom 6 teams in NBA history. So I know one of the thoughts out there is maybe to stop the lottery and lock in freeze those rankings at the All-Star break. And then, teams aren't actively going out there trying to lose to put themselves in a better spot down the stretch of the season. Maybe that's not an option. It's not bad. Out of all the ideas I've seen from the NBA about how to stop tanking.
Because the All-Star game's really late now. You're at really about the
that's right.
53, 54 game mark.
Yeah, it's not much season after that. And so out of all the ones I've seen, if you're saying you have to fix it with one of these options, I would say that's probably my favorite out of all of the ones I've seen.
Yeah, I don't mind that 187. I'm surprised it was that high.
Yeah,
it would. Just
it was bad
in mass quitting.
It was really, really bad. And yeah, you look at some of those teams in there, not much winning. And you look last 10 over those 6. That includes the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies 1-9, Sacramento 3-7, Utah 1-9, Brooklyn 3-7, Indiana 3-7, Washington 0-10. That's just over the last 10 games, but not a lot of winning going on between those 6 teams.
Washington went perfect 0-10. Huh?
Perfect 0-10 to end the year. I know Utah was 0-10 there for a little bit, and they have they cut that, and now 1-9 of their last.
And some of those teams played it that you had to win.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's. And that one win for Utah was on Friday against Memphis. So before that, it was.
What was the margin Friday night?
46.
46 against Utah that wanted to lose.
Right, yeah, no, that was it was who could out tank the other, and I guess Memphis
46
won.
did it.
It sure did. I had a buddy Friday night that was texting me and a couple other buddies in a group chat, and he just ran. We're up by 20. We're up by 25. We're up by 30. And finally, somebody that wasn't watching the game was like, how in the world are the Grizzlies up that much? And he goes, no, you don't understand. By losing, we are winning. And so he big Grizzly fan.
I don't know why
he was very
to win that
excited
game against Denver. I still don't.
It's a good question, but they found a way to, I guess.
Denver didn't do their part that night either.
No, they didn't. But they had all their guys out there, so I mean, it's not like they were resting everybody. That was a weird game. It
really was. My big number is 3. Nobody's ever won 3 straight Masters. We know the group that Rory McIlroy now joins winning back to back. Nobody's ever gone 3 in a row. So there's only one that can do it next April at Augusta National. The unbelievable going for 3 straight Masters. He can win the next 3 majors this year, and he's the only one that can win a Grand Slam this year.
Yeah.
If he wins the next 3, he'll be a Grand Slam winner.
It's crazy. It's I mean, he has been on a tear, certainly with the last 2 majors, and we'll see if maybe that success can carry over to some of these other majors, and maybe he could do the unthinkable. That would certainly be a season if you went back to back at the Masters and then got the Grand Slam. I mean, that would be wild.
The PGA outside Philadelphia, the great Pat Donahue's hometown in Newtown Square, PA. He really rode me hard when I called it Newton. He got on me hard. I didn't know. Newtown Square
we all got
at Then the U.S. Open at Shinnecock, and then the British Open or the Open Championship. And that's where the next 3 majors are this year, and only one can win a Grand Slam.
That's right, and so we'll see if he can do it. I would I'd bet against it, but hey, he's been playing really, really well. So who knows?
Even winning the PGA, I would still bet against it because of the U.S. Open will be so tough.
Oh yeah, it will be really, really tough out there. I mean, they want you to hate it even more than what some of the guys hated the course of the Masters. I mean, they really want you to hate the game of golf by the time you're done playing it.
Yeah, they like around par.
They do.
And 5 under's outrageous to them.
Did you see
it? Low man to win.
Well, that's right. We talked about Sergio earlier. I know on Friday we were talking about old Bobby and his outburst. Did you see Hao Tong Lee yesterday and his blow up? His was not emotional blow up though. His was just on the course blow up.
And did you see how happy he was at the end? I think he kind of hurt Scotty a little bit. All the time it took to play 13 and one other hole, but they left the green. Scotty Scheffler,
sure,
first class, and Hao Tong Lee, you could tell was enamored by being in the group with him. It may have hurt him. Cole topped one. Did you see that? Did you see the Cole topper on? I think on 15.
No.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Never got over ankle high.
Oh man, I hate that.
We know the feeling.
Yeah, I saw someone posted a picture that they went back and watched the hole that he really blew up on, and it's just a picture of him just like standing in the bushes, way behind, like way off in the distance, just kind of like looking over, trying to figure out where the shot is and kind of where his ball was. It was
on 13.
I think that was 13. Yeah.
And I saw a photo. If they hadn't circled where he was, you would have never found him in the shrubs.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about. I saw one where he was just kind of peek. You could just kind of see the tip of his head peeking out. That was on 13.
Hey guys, I'm still here.
It was hilarious, but yeah, it was a rough. That 12-13 double and triple. And then a 10 on he went 6 on 3 and 6 on 12 and then 10 on 13. So
and once again, no shocker. Amen corner is what it came down to,
sure
good
did.
or bad.
It sure did. It really did. And for the winner, it was really, really good. It kind of made the tournament for him. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, I did. I found myself I'm no golf hater, but I'm no golf expert either. But I watched more Masters over the weekend than anything else. I mean, I was locked in on the golf. That's how good it was over the weekend.
Your picks, you won $504,000.
Okay, well, hey, start of the season. We got to get back to the drawing board, figure it out for Wednesday when we've got another just great tournament coming up, and we'll figure things out as a team. And I'm sure
no cut tournament, so I get money this week.
Okay,
instead of the Blutarski I put up.
How about that? So we're all in for some money, which is great for us, and we'll
John
see how
over
we do.
$5 million. Scotty Scheffler, who finished second. John Rahm, T38. You had Ludwig with T21. We doubled everything. Landon, good tournament for Landon. T3 with Cam Young. T21 early Sunday. Keegan Bradley snuck in there and got him some money. And 0 for Bryson, 0 for Minwoo Lee for a total of 0. That is a full Blutarski, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah, it's not great. I did see that.
I'll be picking first on Wednesday. I can tell you now. Barring injury, Scotty Scheffler.
I think that's a smart pick. I saw somebody they posted a video. I think it was at the Masters of Minwoo Lee in the kitchen, like making something. So probably shouldn't have added that to it because he didn't. He didn't cook anything up on the course.
I felt great about it too.
You did. You were excited about your picks, but hey, next week, Brett, you just gotta get back to the drawing board and Wednesday's
that Scotty train.
Wednesday's right around the corner.
I like
that
your
can
pick.
change everything.
You're in a good spot.
Great spot. I love
Picking
it.
first.
Well,
back in my spot.
That's right. It's your spot. But let's get to another break. Wrap up this hour. When we return, we're talking Grizzlies. DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He joins us next.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you'll never come.
Saturday, May 2nd, Davis Wade Stadium.
Wish I didn't, but I do.
With special guests, Dijon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets on sale Friday at 11 a.m. at ZachBryan.com. Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey, did you hear about that multi-billion-dollar Roundup settlement?
Yeah, it impacts people who are exposed to weed killers at work or at home, even if you just used it in your own yard. Lawsuits claim it causes non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a blood cancer.
But we're not sick, so that doesn't affect us.
But it does. This cancer can take 10 to 15 years to show up.
That's a long time after exposure.
It is, and that's why the settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you get sick, even years from now, you could get $6,000 to $165,000 or more as part of this settlement.
So what's the catch?
If you stay in, you give up the right to sue them later.
Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 1-888-403-8201. If you or a loved one has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, even if they've passed, you must register for benefits. That's weedkillerclass.com. 1-888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
This traffic report brought to you by Lauren Tag Hill of Ware Jones Realty. If you're buying a house or selling one and want fast action, contact Lauren Hill at warejones.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to move a little bit better over here now on 240 westbound at Walnut Grove now. It's still slow all the way back to St. Cooper. Again, it's better than it was 10, 15 minutes ago. Here when it was a mess, one car was on its top. Again, it's moving better. 240 westbound at Walnut Grove. It's starting to load up now. 40 east at Sycamore View Road, pushing out towards Germantown Parkway. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck if you're having transmission problems. Come to Amco Transmissions with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Say you stand by your man.
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Monday afternoon. And joining us now to talk the Grizzlies, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He joins us now. DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us. The season has finally come to an end. I know we'll talk a lot about the exit interviews earlier today that you were in attendance for, but over the weekend, the final two games of the season, the Grizzlies lost both of them, 147-101 on Friday against Houston, 132-101 on the road against Houston last night. At least they were consistent out there. I mean, what did you see in those games? I don't even know how to describe those two games, especially that one on Friday night.
Yeah, I saw a team that had a goal of getting as high as they can potentially in the draft lottery. That's what we saw, and the Grizzlies pulled that off. They got up to number 6 in the draft lottery. The Mavs won on the season finale, so you created that. You didn't have to worry about the tiebreaker scenario there. So it was successful weekend in that way, but we didn't get to see, much of, Cedric Howard didn't play over the weekend, no Cam Spencer over the weekend. Javon Small played a little bit. So it's mostly the 10-day contract guys, a couple two-way players, got some more playing time as well. But yeah, again, the priority was clearly trying to maximize that draft value.
DeMichael, I hear a lot of people talking about the improvement of G.G. Jackson and going forward with him or a big piece in a trade deal. I look at the last 3 years, and I hear that and see that this year about G.G. Jackson, but I know what the competition level was. We got that 2 years ago. In the 1 year that he faced any real competition and was really counted on, he couldn't do much. What do they have in him?
Well, I think, when we talk about guys becoming professional players after pretty much, having similar arcs to like Gigi had, like you have guys who are physically dominant for most of their life, and then they get to the league and guys are, comparable from a physical standpoint. There's an adjustment that has to be made. And I think Gigi Jackson, is one of those players that had to learn. That hey, it's not going to be done the easy way here at this level. We see it across sports all the time. But to your question in terms of what do the Grizzlies have in G.G. Jackson, I think this season he kind of figured out his niche. He figured out I don't have to dribble the ball 6-7 times to create a shot. He figured out when I get to the rim and I use my size and my frame in addition to my athleticism, I can be an effective and more efficient scorer. He figured out the importance and the meaning of playing defense and rebounding the basketball. So he's starting to learn, get a better idea of what his role can be. Whereas when he was a rookie, he's just out there, going through the vibes. He's trying to score. He's trying to impress people. He's trying to do whatever he can. So I think that's pretty much that best sums up that situation.
Didn't he lead the team in dunks?
Did he lead the team in dunks? He probably did. I
think so.
Yeah, he probably did because it wasn't like there were many other people dunking on the team this year. I'm pretty sure that would be accurate.
Yeah, no, I think him or Omax would be my only two guesses of most dunks on the season. So with Gigi, I know Brett brought it up of kind of being a trade piece. You've kind of heard a lot of people talk about that, of maybe moving him, or even I've seen some people say package him with Ja to maybe sweeten a deal with a different team. What would you say the percentage for you of G.G. Jackson being back on the Grizzlies on opening night next year?
I'd say about 70.
Okay.
With pretty good chance, but you got to leave that door not just cracked open, but definitely a little bit more open. The thing is, he has an option this year. I'm fully expecting them to pick up that option without a doubt. They're going to pick up his option, and once that's done, then you have bigger conversations in terms of going into a contract year potentially, wanting to go ahead and move him as you go in a direction with some of the other wings, or if you want to kind of prioritize him as part of this group. Gigi was still the youngest player on this team, even this season. He's been the youngest player on the Grizzlies for now 3 consecutive seasons. So I think, it's just more of a question of, what they're going to do in the draft and what wings they'll continue to prioritize. And we know Cedric Howard's going to be in that equation. Jalen Wells is continuing to, do his thing. So it's going to be about how Gigi Jackson kind of fits into that, because, if he doesn't, then, they're probably going to make some moves.
Let's stay on the percentage game. The percentage that Ja Morant opens the season next year with the Grizzlies, and the percentage he's with the Grizzlies at the end of the season next year.
Man, I said probably 5%. Very low for those, because, again, it's this situation. I mean, we see what it's become, right? Ja Morant wasn't at the exit interviews. Ja Morant didn't participate in the jersey giveaway. Ja Morant wasn't at the MVP party, for the fans in March that they had at the zoo. So you're seeing, and I'm not saying that Ja is like purposely ditching these things. It's more of you're seeing kind of the disconnect be broadcasted in kind of a professional or whatever your borderline professional, unprofessional way, where it's a situation where, look, the two sides clearly are trying to go about it the right way. But, again, for years, we've seen Ja Morant be a priority for the Memphis Grizzlies. And in that case, we've seen, anytime the Grizzlies had these big events and they could broadcast Ja Morant in front of the fans, they would do that because he's the star player. So given the context that he's the star player and we're seeing these absences, we're seeing these, we're basically a situation where, it's just trying to keep Ja kind of like in hiding a little bit. That speaks loudly. That speaks loudly, and that's telling people, that the future is one that probably doesn't include Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm. On the topic of Ja Morant, you mentioned he was not a part of the exit interviews today. Were you surprised that he wasn't a part of the exit interviews? And then you mentioned some of those things about him not being a part of different events at the end of the season. There's been a lot of talk about that, some things being said. I know some former players have said things about that as well around the NBA. What do you make of that situation? What can you kind of tell us about that and him not being a part of those events?
Yeah. What was the first part of your question again?
Were you surprised that Ja wasn't included in the exit interviews today?
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. I fully expected it and kind of knew that would be the case. I mean, it's not a situation where the Grizzlies really want kind of to broadcast Ja Morant out there in that situation, because you don't know what he's going to say, and you just kind of want this situation to die out probably from their side. So I think that's part of the thinking, whatever you think of that, as kind of part of the thing there. But in terms of with Ja Morant not speaking, now getting to the other part of your question, which is about just these events and Ja not being at them or whatnot. So going back to, like you said, the latest one, which was the jersey giveaway at the end of the season. So what the Grizzlies ended up doing was they pretty much selected 10 players. So it wasn't that Ja was the only player that wasn't there. Like Zach Edey also, was another guy who didn't give away a jersey, and I think Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Ty Jerome. There were some other guys, but of course, Ja Morant is the big name there because he's the guy who he's basically built this thing around for the last 6-7 years, and he wasn't included. So I think, it was. I don't know if the Grizzlies thought that this would be the case, but it definitely is a situation where you add a little more fuel to a situation that was kind of starting to probably die down a little bit like they wanted to, but then you have that happen and it just adds more to it. I think in past years when they've done the jersey giveaway, I usually, if I recall correctly, you usually see the entire team come out there and participate. So the fact that it was select players, was already kind of, telling, or just, something that you looked at and thought, in a way. But, that's kind of been the theme here lately. Again, you had the March event for the MVP Grizzlies season ticket holders, and I had season ticket holders asking me, hey, why isn't Ja Morant here? Why isn't Ja Morant here? And then he was, again, not at that event, and then exit interviews as well. So it's just the fervor of the situation right now.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely an interesting situation. Out of everything you heard today at the exit interviews, what stood out to you the most?
Oh, man, what stood out the most? There wasn't a lot of revealing information, and a lot of this was just kind of reaffirming a lot of the things that we know and feel and think, about the future and the present, this team. Zach Kleiman continued to, speak on the idea that, the Grizzlies are building, this team in a younger direction. I guess if there is one thing that I had to choose, I would say probably, when I asked him about Ty Jerome and his future with the team, and if he, be on the roster next year, he basically confirmed that that's the plan. He said, absolutely. And a couple reasons that stood out to me. Number one is because when you're in a rebuild, sometimes when you get those players who you can kind of sell high on, they have controllable contracts, those are the players that you try to move to get even more assets. But he spoke really highly of Ty Jerome, and it sounds like, he's in the plan, going forward. And then two, when he was asked about Ja in a similar fashion, and this happened first, he said that he didn't want to talk, he wouldn't comment on any potential transactions regarding players. But then when he was asked a similar question about Ty Jerome, he goes, oh, yeah, absolutely, we expect him to be here. We expect Ja to be here. It was a different tone. So, again, I know a lot of people pay attention to what's said on the paper, but you got to look at what's not said, too. And with the Ja situation, for years, we've seen, Zach Kleiman stand up there and say, Ja's a franchise player for us. We're building around Ja, all of those things. And this year, it was different. The tone was much more different. So it's like, if you can't read into that and see what it means, then it's like, I don't know what else to tell you, because he's not going to just get up there and say, yeah, you know what, we're trading Ja Morant sometime this summer. Like, that does him no good.
DeMichael, do you think they have a plan for the future?
I think they have an idea, and the plan will come into play, as they figure out, what draft pick they'll get and the draft lottery and whatnot. But they have an idea, and the idea is, to build a team that's big, that's fast, athletic. They want to build a team that kind of models, what Boston has done over the last few years, OKC. They want to be one of those teams where you can't just pick on smaller players or bigger players that are immobile and things like that. So they're really changing the way that they built their roster out.
Okay, on the bigger players, and that's the way the sport's going. So does that rule out some of these smaller type point guards with one of those lottery picks? And then on the too big, what does that do for even a healthy Zach Edey?
It's an interesting question, Brett, because I'm going to work backwards. Let's start with Zach Edey, because Zach Kleiman basically said that they believe in Zach Edey from the standpoint of his mobility and things like that. So they believe that Zach Edey can be that guy. And when he played this season, when they went 7-4, Isolo talked about it today. Kleiman talked about it. Like, that is a big talking point. You went 7-4 with Zach Edey on the floor. I think Isolo pointed out that the Grizzlies had the number 2 defense, number 6 net rating in that time when Zach Edey was on the floor. So it is something they really believe in. They don't think that he is, someone who, like we saw at times his rookie season, would be just constantly targeted, in those situations. So they believe, in Zach Edey and kind of, his makeup and what he can be. Now, to the smaller guards, that's an interesting point, because Darius Akos is the one who jumps out. He's 6'2", but he's super talented, and it's going to be an interesting thing because I'll say this: no, he is not the prototype of what they're going for in the future. But depending on where they draft, they might have to just talk themselves into it and build around it. For example, if you draft top 5, you might want to pivot somewhere else and consider a different type of player. But with their pick supposed to be right now, well, the slot they're in is number 6. So if they end up falling to 7 or 8, which is probably the most likely case scenario given the odds for everything, if they fall to 7 or 8, then you're in a situation where you need to come out of here with a talented player that's going to make your team better. And even though Darius Acuff is going to probably have some of those same limits that you had with your previous point guard or whatever, it's still a situation where you're going to get people interested, and you just got to build the team around that. Like, some people say, oh, you can't win with a small point guard. Some people say, oh, you can. I'm of the opinion there's ways to work around it. Like, I use the Knicks example right now. I use the Allen Iverson example when, with the Philadelphia 76ers, where you have to put bigger wings around them to kind of make up for, their shortcomings. And you have to have good rim protection. So when you think of, the New York Knicks, it's like, yeah, they got Jalen Brunson, but guess what? They got OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. Like, they're not just going to let you attack him and win the game.
They have Cat. Yeah.
They got Cat and Mitchell Robinson on the back end. Like, they have, a
covers
solid
up a lot.
line. Exactly. So the thing in Memphis is you had John Morant on the perimeter and whatnot, but like Desmond Bain, solid, but he isn't Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, defensively. And you had Jaren Jackson Jr., but it was a whole nother level when you built those rosters like that. Like I just talked about, the 76ers. I mean, it was a different brand of basketball back then when AI went there, but he had Aaron McKee, great defensive player on the perimeter. Eric Snow, great perimeter defensive player. Dikembe Mutombo, at the rim. So just different looks and better looks.
Mm-hmm. How much did you learn about Tomas Islo, the coach, this year?
We learned a lot about him. Just a lot about how he thinks, how he processes things. His patience with the process. I think he's going to be an interesting guy to kind of follow as the Grizzlies go into this next era. But I tell you what, one thing, and I just touched on this a little bit earlier, but you just get the idea in the sense that Zach Edey is a big part of what he wants this team to be. And he talked a lot about how the changing and the involvement of the roster really didn't allow the Grizzlies to kind of just stick to one plan at one point of the season and just continuously build on it. He said every time certain injuries happen, they have to tear something up and completely pivot to something else. And so I think he handled all of that well, given the context of the situation.
If we're sitting here 1 year from today and it's another win total in the 20s, does anybody in management pay the price?
Yeah, for sure. There's no way that should be the case next season. Even you're going to have some young, talented players, but they should definitely be building in a positive direction come next season. So I think, that probably would be a problematic finish because they weren't even supposed to be there this year, if they were healthy. So I think given the added context that Cedric Howard has showed that he can be a winning player, Zach Edey has showed that he can be a winning player in terms of the team's net ratings when those guys are on the floor. You have the chance. I mean, you're going to have 3 picks in the top 33, so you have a chance to potentially come out with 2 to 3 impactful players in the draft. In addition to some of the other guys you got on the roster who are a little bit older, like Ty Jerome, I just mentioned, a solid base for them should be 30-something odd wins, depending on and we'll see how the league does with this tanking stuff. Like, you could definitely see a situation where, February gets here and they trade a couple guys and, they kind of pack it in the rest of the way. There's some added context that needs to be added. But I think the goal should definitely be improvement.
Last thing for you, DeMichael. A lot of people have been wanting to hear something from the organization in terms of kind of commitment here to Memphis. It was asked of Kleiman today. What did you make of his answer to that question of kind of being here in Memphis?
Yeah, it was a little funny at first because he basically, started off like, "Hey, I'm the basketball guy. Yes, that ain't really all my lane." But he further dived into it, and I think he handled the question a decent way. Like, look, they have said things like they want to be here in Memphis and whatnot. He mentioned kind of the downtown area and everything that's coming around that. But as long as these lease negotiations are going on, I think for the Grizzlies, they probably feel like it's a tricky spot. Right, because you want to keep the pressure on the city to get something done, but you also have kind of a commitment to Memphis and the fans here to stand up for the city when you have LeBron James, Draymond Green, and others kind of making these comments about Nashville and all of that. So it's a tricky position because of the situation now, but it's also one where they definitely should have said something by this point, and seeing Zach at least comment on the issue was progressive.
DeMichael, on that front, do you think at some point during the summer, be it from the mayor's office or from the Grizzlies, kind of a clear the air, this is where we stand on the lease?
Yeah. I think that by this summertime, you should hear something like that. Like it's people talk, and again, there have been talks of this thing being progressive for over a year now, and I think that's a good way to outline that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens over the next couple of months. But DeMichael, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, DeMichael.
Thank you, DeMichael. And next Monday, when we talk to DeMichael, we'll talk about kind of around the league and who he likes in the playoffs. And the NBA took a lot of the drama out of those opening rounds when they went to four out of seven.
Yeah, no, they did. I think wanted to, because obviously you want to protect those top seeds and not let anybody
Mutombo clutching that ball for Denver and for. Who was he with? Yeah, for Denver against George Karl in Seattle.
Yeah. So no, they don't want any funny business happening in these first rounds. So the more games, the easier it makes it.
I can't blame
those
them.
top seeds. No, not at all. But excited about it. Excited about these games tomorrow night and Wednesday with the play-in. And certainly we didn't get to it with DeMichael. Just ran out of time with everything with the exit interviews. But still a lot to watch for right now for the Grizzlies with that second pick. You've got both the Suns and the Magic. Reminder, the best first round pick for the Grizzlies, the worst of those two, I guess you could say, goes to the Grizzlies. And so obviously right now the Magic, they are the lower seeded team, with the Suns being a 7 seed in the West and the Magic being an 8 seed in the East. The Magic have the worst record, so all eyes on that pick. So if something happens here, if the Magic lose both games in the play-in, I believe that pick drops into the lottery, which would be huge for the Grizzlies. If not, though, you're talking about something in the teens, so definitely a lot to watch in terms of where that second pick is going to be over these next couple of days with both the Suns and the Magic.
Loaded draft.
Yeah, very loaded draft. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see how it plays out. And by the end of the week, we'll know exactly where that second, or hopefully around where that second pick will be, and we will have a better idea of where the Grizzlies will be for both those picks. But before we get to a break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. Perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com, but head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Brownie, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finish with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at NapaCafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Rebel Nation, get the latest on everything Ole Miss sports with the Cannon Motors of Mississippi Rebel Yell Hotline. Join Rebel insiders Chuck Rounsville, Yancey Porter, and Gary Darby Monday nights at 6 as they break down the latest with the Rebels along with even more insight from special guests. Rebel Yell Hotline, Mondays at 6 p.m. on WHBQ.
Stay up to date with everything going on in Ole Miss athletics with Rebel Yell Hotline every Monday night from 6 to 7 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good evening as that traffic volume continues to build 40 east over here around Covington Pike as that traffic increases even more, pushing south of Memphis right now. We've had to deal with a little bit of radar down through there earlier, so be careful down through DeSoto County, south of Memphis on 55 going southbound right now. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. Log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we've got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending and a lot of things trending this afternoon. As we talked about, got a lot of Major League Baseball tonight, got the NBA play-ins starting tomorrow night. So plenty of things going around, but the transfer portal wide open around college basketball. A lot of teams already making moves, a lot of players already committing. Louisville had the big weekend around college basketball, but still another day. Aaron Bradshaw still not in the portal, still nothing official from him. I mean, at some point, you just enter the portal and say you're going and field offers, even though probably fielding offers behind the scenes with an agent of some sort. But no commits just quite yet for Memphis. I know they've been setting up some visits. They've had some Zoom meetings with different potential players, but still wondering if they are going to have one more back or not.
That's the three portal takeaways for me. Mm-hmm. Bradshaw and what's being built at Louisville and Iowa State, and the Tigers play them both. And will play Iowa State opening afternoon, and then play Louisville in December at FedEx Forum.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you're seeing the teams that are having success around college basketball in terms of building teams next year, and a handful of them are on the Tigers' schedule. And I just saw on social media Jizzle James, the guard for Cincinnati that entered the transfer portal after the year. He just committed to Charlotte. So following his head coach there. So Charlotte, bringing in a talented guard. So a lot of teams that are going to be on Memphis' schedule already going out there in the transfer portal and making moves. And what Louisville did over the weekend to get Badunga, who, I mean, by all accounts and a lot of people that put together their rankings, he was number one on the transfer portal rankings. They also went out and got a really talented guard from Oregon, who was out for most of the season, in Jackson Shellstad. So I mean, they're doing some nice things over there. So Brian Hodgson, obviously that's not a team Memphis will face at least on their schedule right now, but he's going out there making some moves, bringing in Dink Pate, who was on that G League Ignite team. So some big time moves around college basketball for some teams that have a lot of history and connections with Memphis.
The Dick Vitale news really hits hard, but he is taking it just like he always has, head on, really very aggressive, and going to fight for sure. 86 years young. Right, I don't want to be too over the top because nobody starts anything. I mean, it takes a lot of people. But you could really give both as a company for ESPN and college basketball, with the intersection of ESPN and college basketball, late 70s, early 80s, you could give a lot of the growth and credit to Dick Vitale being that ambassador, that goodwill, happy warrior, sunny disposition that he always had. I do not want to speak ill of anybody deceased, but Billy Packer would often kind of pick at Dick Vitale and try to pick a fight, and Dick Vitale would not do it. He would not do it. He would laugh it off and kind of slap Billy Packer on the back, and I got my deal and you got yours. And what Billy Packer was doing, he was more or less accusing him of being a cheerleader, really not a serious analyst, and he would just write it off and go, You approach the game the way you want to, and I'm going to do it the way I want to.
Yeah, no, it is really impressive. I mean, just what take away obviously these fights and how strong he's fighting, and the positive outlook that he has on everything. I mean, what he means to college basketball, and then kind of what I mean. Anytime I don't think you can think of the V Foundation, Jim Valvano, like any of that without thinking of Dick Vitale, because of all of the great work he has done with that. And just, from all accounts and everything you see, just a very selfless human being. And so to see him go through this, which is really tough, and, to get the green light before the season started last year of, hey, things are doing good. You can get back out there and do a couple of games, and to go out there and do that. And then basically right when the season's wrapping up, to get just another wave of bad news, and kind of, hey, we're right back there in the thick of it. I mean, it's just crushing to hear. But you wouldn't know it if you saw him tomorrow. Probably you would have no idea what he's going through, because he just is such a positive person and is just so happy in his
life. And he
fight.
often will say, "Yeah, I am a cheerleader.
Yeah,
I really like what I'm doing."
He was, and he did, and it made it fun to watch those games. When you knew Dick Vitale was on a call of a game, I mean, you knew it was big time, but you knew you were going to have a lot of fun watching the game besides what was happening on the court. So, I hate seeing all this news about him and his continued fight. But, like you said earlier when we first started talking about it, he's going to fight hard, and he's going to do it with a smile on his face.
He was a good college coach at the University of Detroit, good enough to get the Pistons job out of it. Now, that has been a tough transition for a lot of people, to go from college to NBA. And one of the big personnel moves that he made early in his Piston tenure, and it really cost him, he passed in the draft, and it hit home locally. He had a chance at Sidney Moncrief in that 79 draft that I think Bird and Johnson were in the draft, and he had a chance at Sidney Moncrief. And reportedly, he said, one of the knocks of Sidney Moncrief, who went on to the Hall of Fame, he goes, he plays so hard, he's going to get hurt. and at draft time, you can find a lot of reasons to pick at a player. The arms are too short or whatever. But he thought he goes so hard that he would get hurt. And he took Greg Kelser off of that Michigan State National Championship team because he thought he was just as athletic as Sidney Moncrief, and thought he would sell some tickets locally for the Pistons. So, one of his bigger NBA gaffes you could kind of understand, but he laughed about that, about Sidney Moncrief for years.
Wow. Well, when
he said, I was right. He played so hard, he played all the way into the Hall of Fame.
Well, you're half right there. It's just the injuries didn't follow it. So, yeah, definitely sad news. But hopefully, good news comes from it, and I know he's going to continue that fight with it.
He had a book out one time, and he was on with us, and it was so great, and we told him, we're hard out at 57. He was rolling. We just roll right through it.
Keep on going. Honestly, I mean, if you got Vitale and he's rolling, you just let him keep rolling.
And he said, he goes, so much for that hard out. I knew y'all weren't going to cut me off.
That's great. That's great. No, he knew exactly what he was doing. But no, definitely thoughts and prayers certainly for him. I mentioned some baseball games tonight. We already have a final. Mariners, don't look now, but maybe they are getting hot. A 6-2 win over the Astros. That completes a 4-game sweep over the Astros. Mariners really need it. They were struggling. They were struggling at the plate. Started to find some offense over the weekend, especially with Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, who were ice cold. 1 game in progress right now with the D-backs and Orioles, and not a full slate tonight, but a decent amount of games later tonight in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Cardinals in Cleveland tonight. Tickets available.
Tickets certainly available, and don't really know what to expect tonight for the Cardinals. Guardians, the night game last night, it was super sideways, super early, so I don't know what they're going to be feeling like coming into this game, and who knows what the Cardinals will do tonight. But I feel like that's going to be a lot of games for the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, it could be, but the National League Central looks like a pretty fair fight right now. But the proviso of is really early.
Very, very early. Very early. A lot can change.
Boy, when I hit that first place, last place picture Saturday morning, I go, boy, I'm going to pay for that in 2 weeks.
That was made my day, seeing that text. And, all right, oh no, and what was that? That would have been, August 11th? Or April 11th?
April 11th. Well, I'll take August 11th. I'll sign up for that right now.
That's a completely different story if it looks like that on August 11th. But looking at the standings on April 11th, I love it. Have you seen the growing talk about Mason Miller being a Cy Young candidate this year for the Padres?
I haven't.
He has been on a tear. I will give him credit for that. He has been lights out this season. So far this year, 7 games, 7 1/3, 19 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit, no runs. So a 0.00 ERA and a .273 WHIP. People pointing back to since he got traded from the Athletics, 30 2/3 of an inning, 64 strikeouts, 11 walks, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. That is .59 ERA and a .620 WHIP. So some calling for Mason Miller, if he can continue this, that's a big ask, again, April 13th, but that he should be in consideration for Cy Young, which obviously being a closer would be very rare.
It would be rare, but it's happened.
Sure, yeah, but you don't really think of when we're making our Cy Young picks at the beginning of the year. None of us are picking relief pitchers.
Didn't Dennis Eckersley do it?
He did. Yeah, he did. I believe that's right. Yeah.
And I think that was the year. Now, he started as a starter, but then made the switch, and that was the year. Let me get this right: that he had more saves than base runners allowed.
Wow. Okay, that is that's impressive. That didn't even compute in my head how that can even happen. Feels like that shouldn't even be able
I think it's my favorite stat in baseball history.
No, that is. I mean, there's a lot of good. I feel like baseball is the one where you hear stats a lot that you're just like, that doesn't even make any sense. But that's up there. That's really good.
I'm looking at the Google machine. 92. That may not have been the year that he did it. It might have been a year or two before that.
Wow. That is that's impressive.
Jolly Fingers in 81. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, has happened before, but very rare. But if you're talking about a relief pitcher that can do it, I mean, Mason Miller, even before you read the stat line out, he would be the pitcher you would think about of being the one that could do it.
You would. What did the A's get back in return? Do you remember? Are they helping?
One is their top prospect now. He was part of that deal, if I remember correctly. But I don't remember exactly everything that came back. I think it was a lot of prospects, but I don't remember exactly.
I hope they got a good haul.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. Let's see what the trade looked like. Leo DeVries, who is
that's my AL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, so
who's still in AAA, but I knew that
Double A.
Oh,
I think.
Oh, Double A. I didn't know that.
Double A right now.
That's going to be a contract thing. They're going to bring him up later,
right.
though.
Yes. It feels like I don't know where they're going to play him though. Maybe second. He's at Double A right now for Midland. But.
Boy, he better hope he gets called up because it'll be hot out there all summer.
It sure will be. But that was the prize piece of that. And so I mean, he's a top prospect in Major League Baseball. That's a pretty good return for you. Yeah. You can work with that. A shortstop that will be one of your top prospects. You could certainly work with that. But it's been fun, and the A's have been hot as of late. We talked about it earlier. Those 5-game losing streaks for both
my
the
AL Manager of the Year.
Sure, I mean, looking great right now.
Wild card team.
I mean,
for me.
Honestly, again, this is like the 4th time in this segment we've had to say April 13th. But when you look at the Yankees and the Mets, both on 5-game losing streaks, and the big reason is because the Athletics are going in and beating them, that's impressive for the A's. That doesn't happen very often out in Sacramento. I haven't seen the Sacramento jerseys yet. Now, I haven't been locked in to the A's just quite yet, but I haven't either. Noticed.
Where on the jersey is it?
No. They have a jersey that across the front this year has Sacramento on it. So they have one jersey that is a Sacramento jersey. After last year saying we are not doing that at all, they've kind of gone back on it and said we will have a jersey.
But the stadium is underway in Vegas.
Yeah, no,
it's going to happen.
They're making work on it, but
the stadium may be finished about the time we get back to baseball after the impasse.
But it was always kind of weird to me. Like, I get it, you're not technically the Sacramento, but it felt like they almost went out of their way to be anti-Sacramento when they got there. Like, we want no part of Sacramento. We're just here for a pit stop. It's like, you do have to sell tickets while you're there. You do want people to come to your games. So maybe they looked back on that and said, you know what, maybe we'll just give them a jersey. We'll have a
Maybe
Sacramento
they learned
jersey.
from the Tennessee Oilers.
Well, that could be possibly a factor of it too. There's certainly in the past some good explanation or good examples you can point to of saying, maybe we shouldn't do that. But the A's have been a fun watch recently. But we need to wrap up today's show, get to our final break, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Moe's Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Memphis Public Golf has so much going on right now. Do you know that golf is up 11% at all the public golf courses? Do you know the driving range at Audubon is so popular they do about 100 driving range balls per day, 100 buckets? Wow. It's just happening. That's the way public golf is right now. There is going to be a new tournament April the 18th at Pine Hill, which is really different. 18 holes, but 3 different 6-hole formats. Scramble, alternate shot, and aggregate. That means both scores count. That's a brand new wrinkle. And if you just want to book a tee time, or if you want to find out more about all the great tournaments, because you know every course has a championship, there's the Memphis Public Links. All you got to do is go to MemphisPublicLinks.com. That's MemphisPublicLinks.com. They say better play every day on Memphis Public Links, and with the way they have improved the golf courses, that is absolutely on the money.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye!
It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com, it's your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergency. Well, Brett, what I learned today is that the NBA regular season wrapped up yesterday, and that means a lot of teams going to the playoffs, but it also means a lot of teams, their seasons came to an end, but you know what that means? That means coaching moves are happening. We know Doc Rivers is out at Milwaukee, and we'll see if more come open over the next week with some of these playoff teams and what Milwaukee does with that. We talked about it earlier about the Giannis situation, where will he be back next year? It doesn't feel like he will, but maybe depending on who they bring in as a head coach, maybe he might return if he likes that. Maybe Taylor Jenkins is the guy to watch. Billy Donovan, what does his future look like with the Chicago Bulls? I feel like the moves with the general management over the last week or so makes it feel like he probably will be back, but I know he was having a meeting either today or tomorrow to discuss that, so hopefully we'll get some news in the next couple of days. And then the New Orleans Pelicans, they'll look for a coach after making that move from Willie Green earlier this season. So only a couple of openings right now, but we'll see if that grows in the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks.
I learned that Rory McIlroy now with 6 majors, T12 all-time on the majors front. That's tied with Lee Trevino, Nick Faldo, and Phil Mickelson. 5 players with 7, the King, Arnold Palmer, Sam Snead, Gene Sarazen, Bobby Jones, and Harry Vardon. Number 1 all-time, Jack Nicklaus with 18. Sorry, Tiger. Yeah. 18 still beats 15.
18 always tops 15. What I could have done without this really sad, really weird story that came out over the last couple of days with Ruben Bain Jr. as we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. Now news about how he was involved in a 2024 crash that led to a death. It led first to a coma, and then later that victim died. We've learned today that Ruben Bain was the driver in that collision, but a lot of questions now of kind of why is this coming to light now? What was the, I don't remember back then. I don't remember anything about this story back in 2024, but obviously with the draft, these teams doing their due diligence and getting all of this information, but definitely a sad and very weird story out of Miami.
I was sad to see the passing of Phil Garner, Ball for Life, Scrap Iron, part of We Are Family, hit 500 in the 1979 World Series, 12 of 24, and the closest I've ever came to cursing on the air. He was in a big dust-up. It was summer in 93. Me and Paul Hartledge's on there together. George was on vacation. George was always on vacation. It was me and Paul in the summertime, and Phil Garner got in a beef with someone, and I said, you don't want to messed with Phil Garner. I barely got it out. It was almost the wrong word.
I love that. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to the Mets and the Dodgers.
All right, yeah, that will be
and those big
fun
budgets.
One. Yeah, that will be a fun one. We'll see if the Mets can get on the right side. I talked about this athletics team. Let me go check out this athletics team tonight, see if they can keep rolling at home against the Rangers.
Yeah, that would be fun. A's over 500.
Crazy. Hard to believe, but it's going to be a baseball night. There's 10 games on the schedule today, one already final, some hockey out there as well, but everybody gearing up for the play-ins tomorrow night in the NBA. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.